Hello, everyone. Welcome to another. I keep looking at that camera. I should be looking at this one. Another episode of Christmas Time with the Detractor, whatever this video is called. I forgot already because I'm just that good. This is technically Christmas, but also technically not. This is the Hate Live New Year special, but he does talk about Christmas stuff in this video. I'm debating watching the whole thing. I will say, just a heads up, it is the New Year special. Catching up, a Scott tribute. You got a Scott tribute in here, and Christmas recap. I think Scott is someone who died, something like that. So, you know. Okay, yeah, hell. Okay, we're gonna watch this whole thing. Fuck it. We're gonna do it. We are gonna do it. It's, it's all good. Fuck it.
DSP here. My hair looks weird. I don't care. DSP here, and welcome to Hate Live, my very first podcast, my very first vlog, my very first live stream where I'm talking to you guys face to face for the year of 2015. Happy New Year, everyone. I'm excited. I hope that you guys are as well for a brand new year. All kinds of new feelings and new things, blossoming all around us. Today was no exception for myself, my business, and my website, which we're going to talk about on this podcast. And it's the first podcast I've done in a couple weeks. The holidays are now officially over. Humbug, right? I mean, I love the holidays. I don't know how much you guys know, but I love the holidays. It's one of my favorite times of the year. I go full holiday mode. I end up decorating the house. I watch tons of holiday movies like Christmas and all that, and into New Year's. And my parents were visiting this year, which was a crazy exception. And it was just a lot of fun. And I had so much fun that now I'm disappointed that it's over. But you know what? That's fine, because this year we're going to be doing things a little differently. We're going to be doing things hopefully in a more entertaining and fun way for everyone, and hopefully it'll take maybe a little bit of the burden off of me. We'll have to see. But we're going to talk about that on tonight's Hate Live podcast. So first of all, thanks for being here, whether if you're here live on stream or if you're watching on YouTube. I appreciate that. And we've got quite a lot to talk about tonight. In fact, we've got a ridiculous amount of stuff to cover, and I don't know how much time I'm going to take to do it, so I'm not going to do a back in the day segment per se in this episode. However, there's going to be a few special segments. Let me just very briefly give you the outline of what to expect. We're going to start talking a little bit about New Year's. I'm going to start talking about all the stuff that I've been doing in the past couple of weeks, the content that I've been putting out in case you missed it because you were busy for the holidays. We're actually going to talk about the return of my website, which is an amazing accomplishment. Finally, after a month and a half, we're back,
the website's
and it
back.
looks like it's a good positive thing.
A
little bit of information about, unfortunately, some attacks that I've been suffering this past week. I just want to let everyone know, without going into too much negativity or detail about it, what's been happening and what to expect if it happens again. All right, plans coming up for this month, things that are coming for the rest of January that I want to outline for you so you guys are aware of what to expect, how it's coming, and also some changes, especially Patreon, which I am going to adopt at some point this month. I want to talk about that.
Patreon.
I'm going to talk about a calendar update that I need to do, my gaming schedule update, so that you know what's coming in the next few months for games. The bottom line is for January, it's very light, so there's no real rush to do it, but I want to do it by the end of this month. And, of course, then I want to talk about, for the rest of the year, the big things that I'm going to be doing this year when it comes to travel, when it comes to time off and or special events, so you guys know exactly what to expect. This will be the first day of the year. Why not? Why not talk about that stuff so that you guys are well aware
about day offs and all this stuff? But if you talk to him now, he'll act as if he never did. He never took time off back then. I never take time off. I was always working. All right, guys, I'm going to talk about my time, my day off.
When it comes to time off and or special events, so you guys know exactly what to expect. This will be the first day of the year. Why not? Why not talk about that stuff so that you guys are well aware, way ahead of time, what to expect when it comes to myself, my streaming schedule, my content, etc. Okay? And, of course, the opportunity to possibly meet me in person, which we'll talk about as well.
Oh, meet in person.
And then we're going to take a break after all of that, which I'm sure that's going to take quite a while to get through all that stuff. When we come back, there's going to be a dual segment for the second half of the show. The first half of the show is going to be a tribute to my friend who unfortunately passed away this past week just after Christmas. And I knew him for quite some time, but then I really lost touch with him around the early 2000s when I really stopped. I stopped playing competitive Street Fighter. Then I got into it again, but when I got into it again, I wasn't really in contact with him. His name is Scott. We'll get into a lot more detail about
I love that he wasn't talking to Scott, but hold on.
this past week, just after Christmas. And I knew him for quite some time, but then I really lost touch with him around the early 2000s when I really stopped. I stopped playing competitive Street Fighter. Then I got into it again, but when I got into it again, I wasn't really in contact with him. His name is Scott. We'll get into a lot more detail about this later, but I want to kind of do a mini tribute to him because he was one of the most influential people in the Connecticut fighting game scene.
Why didn't he keep in touch with him? If he was so important to him, why did he stop talking to him?
Reason why I and many others from Connecticut ended up leaving the state to go play games outside of the state. He was very influential in that regard. He was a good friend, and even though I haven't really seen or talked to him in quite some time, he still deserves a tribute segment on this show, which we will do. And then to close the show on a positive note, we're going to talk about Christmas and what I actually did during my Christmas.
What the fuck is with this guy? Every time it's like he goes out of his way to talk about some depressing shit in these videos, and then immediately follows it with Christmas. I've talked about this in the last video, and I'll bring it up again. This dude cried about how the mainstream media, dude, went from talking about the Pakistan massacre or whatever, to then talking about Christmas. Hey, swept it under the rug, dude. Remember that? Remember that? If Scott was such a big deal to DSP, why is he sweeping Scott under the rug? Okay, guys, yeah, he died. Merry Christmas. Like, come on, Phil. Fucking Phil and him just brushing people's deaths under the rug, dude. I can't fucking believe this guy.
Break, because as you guys know, about a week ago I took a significant amount of time off from the daily streams and the daily uploads to spend personal time with my parents and my girlfriend Leanna for the holidays. My parents came from Connecticut across the country to the state of Washington to visit us in person. I'm going to talk about the food, the decor, the things that we did around the house. It's going to be a fun kind of recap. You're going to hear some little mini stories about us going shopping and stuff that you don't know about. I'm going to talk a little bit about some funny stuff that happened in the house, some Twitter pictures, and all kinds of stuff. It's going to be a good segment to end the show on a positive note, okay? So, all right, everyone, let me get situated here. First of all, the first thing you might be saying to yourself is, what the hell is that next to Phil? Yeah, these are one of the Christmas presents that Leanna actually got me for Christmas.
You notice how those pillows just vanished in like 2018, mostly 2018. I think they were still around in 2017, but they were gone by 2018. Now, according to Phil, he was sitting on them for support and all this stuff, which, come on.
Were these cool throw pillows that are like retro NES cartridges. Look at them. I'm actually looking at the stream over here. That's what I'm looking at as I look to the left. And, they're kind of parodies of classic NES games tossed to the 80s. So this one, right, is a pillow that says Unicorn's Revenge. I think it's supposed to be a parody of like Karnov's Revenge, which was a famous NES game. And it actually has the characters from the movie Legend on the front, which is pretty funny. That's supposed to be Tim Curry playing the devil.
Now, in yesterday's pre-stream, he was saying how Christmas was just another day. He never got presents. He got old enough for Christmas. He gets nothing. I got these pillows for Christmas, man. Man, and it's funny because Kat had bought him gifts too, but then he just shits on them by saying like, oh, it's just another day. This dude, man, like, people still get Christmas gifts, no matter how old you are. You probably get less toys and more like clothing, and all kinds of shit, because obviously when you get older, you're gonna use more, right?
By the way. And then over here we've got another one, Lava Jump, which is, again, look at how cool it is. It's supposed to be like an NES cartridge. It even has the thing on the bottom like you plug into the NES. And that one has a little guy that kind of looks like either a combination of Mario or the guy from Pitfall jumping over a volcano, similar to how Mario jumps over lava and fireballs on the cover of Super Mario Brothers. So these are really nice. And, you're going to be seeing these in all the podcasts and the vlogs for the foreseeable future. So I figure I might as well show them to you guys so you know exactly what they are, okay? So let's talk turkey. Let's actually talk a little bit about what I've been up to recently. First, let's actually talk about New Year's. This was the very first year, obviously, since we've moved, that we celebrated New Year's in somewhere other than the East Coast.
Whoa.
And it was kind of funny last night because Leanna and I were like, what are we supposed to do for New Year's? Like, do we watch the East Coast New Year's? Because we always used to watch the New Year's Rockin' Eve, you know, the Times Square. They drop the ball in Times Square of New York. And that was our New Year's because we always lived on the East Coast. And we're like, now that we don't live on the East Coast, what are we supposed to do? So when we ended up doing some research and we actually found out that just locally, I mean, I'm talking it's very close to where we live. The Space Needle in Seattle actually has their own New Year's celebration where about 20,000 people gather for New Year's Eve, and everyone hangs out there, and there's a big a concert and music show, and they actually shoot fireworks out of the Space Needle as it hits midnight, and it turns to the New Year this out here. So we actually ended up watching that. It's kind of a short thing. It only lasts about 8 to 10 minutes. So that was like way shorter than like the huge overblown special that they do on the East Coast with New Year's Rockin' Eve with 5 million. I think have One Direction dancing in the streets of New York. Who gives a shit? But we had our own little personal celebration here. When it hit midnight, we actually had a little drink of non-alcoholic, like bubbling apple juice,
non-alcoholic
peach juice kind of
Why
deal.
was he? I got it. He was trying to recover from being an alcoholic. That's why he did all this stuff. He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna my New Year's resolution. I'm not gonna drink as much as I have. Okay." That's what it was.
In celebration of the new year. And we had our own private thing. And we actually discussed, we said, gee, we're so close to the Space Needle that one year we should definitely do that. And I think that we've kind of decided last night together that one year we are going to do that. We're going to go over to the Space Needle and be there for the fireworks in person and maybe spend the night and, you know, the day in downtown Seattle, which would be nice. So didn't do anything major for New Year's. I hope that you had a great New Year's, a safe one. So let's talk. Let's talk a little bit of a recap now about what I've been doing recently. Because these past couple of weeks have been very different from my usual content, where, as you know, I would do 2 gameplay streams a day, upload tons of videos to YouTube, and every week I was doing consistent weekend preview and consistent, you know, vlogs every week, and it hasn't been like that for a couple of weeks. So for a lot of you, especially those of you who maybe have been away for a while, celebrating the holidays or being busy with your own stuff, coming back, you're like, I don't know what to expect, and I don't know exactly what's going on.
What's going on, Phil?
Well, let's talk. For Christmas week, because I knew I was going to be busy with my parents, I had originally intended on doing a few fan appreciation sessions of gameplay with people during the course of the week. I also wanted to continue with Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, which was the playthrough I had started the week before Christmas. But I knew I wasn't going to have a lot of time, so I tried to basically squeeze it in, and during the course of Christmas week, I was able to do a couple things. I was able to actually do one stream of Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, and I was actually able to do a fan appreciation session of Super Smash Bros. On the Wii U. So, thanks to those who Christmas week were patient. You know, a lot of the times, I have consistent gameplay during Christmas week. A lot of the times, you know, back when I lived in Connecticut, it really wasn't that different from a normal week for me, besides Christmas Eve and day when I would spend some time with my parents, and usually I would even have time to do a Christmas special. This year was the exception because I was so busy with my parents' visit that it kind of, you know, took up all my time. And yes, we are going to talk all about that visit, like I said, in the second half of the show. So, thanks to those who were patient. I'm now back, but not at a full schedule. Let me explain what I mean by that. I didn't get to start any of my year-end series this year until this week, because there were so many games that came out in November, things like Pokemon and Far Cry 4 and WWE 2K15, that I was so busy with the whole month that I didn't have an opportunity to actually have time and work on these year-end series. And in addition to that, as I told you guys, the forums were down. And because the forums were down, there wasn't any opportunity for people to post up logos and fan art. There wasn't any opportunity for people to nominate things for their funniest moments of the year. And that's a big part of the year-end series that I like to do every year, and that was missing. So I held off on all my year-end series until this week, and now they've finally begun. So let me explain to you exactly how I'm going to be covering things this week at least, and then we're going to talk about the rest of the month a little bit later. This particular week, what I'm doing is I'm doing 3 different playthroughs. I'm doing the continuation of Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, I'm doing the continuation of Dragon Age Inquisition, and we're doing Grand Theft Auto 5 on the PlayStation 4, so it's the next-gen version of the game, the first-person shooter. And the reason I say that is because I'm playing the game entirely in first person. A lot of people have inquired, are you going to do the whole playthrough? Are you just going to do it for a few hours and say, okay, you've got the taste of it? I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to be doing in particular. It all depends on how much time I have, if people are liking it or not, and go from there. You know, if I'm playing it and after 5 hours of playing, people are like, I don't want to see this again, and everyone's like, I wish you'd do other stuff, then I'll do other stuff. If I'm loving it, then I'll keep playing it, or vice versa. We'll have to see what happens, okay?
My God.
But I started that this week based off of your feedback. I actually did a straw poll last week, and it was Grand Theft Auto 5 that overwhelmingly won the vote. Number 2 was Assassin's Creed Rogue, and then behind that we had finish up older stuff like Parasite Eve and Tales of Exilia 2. I'm not saying I'm never going to finish those. I'm just saying at this point, people are wanting to see fresh content. That's what I'm going to give them. You know, I'm going to give the people what they want. And for me, I'd love to finish those projects, but I also wanted to try Grand Theft Auto 5 first-person shooter, which I'm liking as well. So I'll do whatever, right? So I'm doing that, those playthroughs, as my first streams. But then I'm not doing second streams because what I've been doing is taking the time the second half of the day to work on my year-end series. And if for those of you who have not seen them yet, maybe you're out of the loop, you haven't been paying attention, or maybe you just don't check out my gaming channel, DSP Gaming. That's very possible. I know a lot of people follow my vlogs, but not my gaming stuff. They started on Tuesday, and as of last night, the 4-video series of the best and worst DLCs of 2014 is live and ready to go. So head on over there if you haven't had a chance. These are the kind of videos people wait for all year, and let me tell you, within 2 days, I've got a lot of views on it, and I'm very pleased that I'm putting the time and effort into it to do it, all the video editing and everything that it takes to do it, and people are liking it and watching it and obviously spreading the word about it, and that's awesome. So thanks very much to those of you who've checked it out already. If you haven't, definitely check out that series. So you might be saying to yourself, all right, well, that's all well and good, but what's coming now in the next few days so we at least know what to expect? Well, tomorrow I'm going to be continuing Dragon Age Inquisition, and instead of a second stream, I'm going to be beginning the most disappointing games of 2014. That's right, we do this every year. The games that really let us down last year, that really should have had either massive potential or maybe they were overhyped, and for whatever reason they didn't deliver. That's going to actually start tomorrow on DSP Gaming. So you'll see some gameplay of Dragon Age. You'll pair that off with the most disappointing games, and that'll be a good end to the week. Saturday, I'm only going to be doing the one stream. It's going to be Grand Theft Auto 5 first-person shooter mode continuing. So for those of you who missed it earlier this week, you should get caught up by Saturday because that's when that's going to continue. I will not be working on the year-end series Saturday or Sunday because the second half of Saturday, I end up going out with Leanna, which we're going to do. We're going to go out, do some shopping, some critical stuff we need to get done. And then Sunday, the stream is going to be the continuation of Kingdom Hearts 2. So for those of you who've been following along that playthrough, try to get caught up for Sunday because that's when the next batch is going to be coming out. And then we're going to have the weekend preview at night, and then probably nothing else because I'll probably be working on the year-end series then, but I don't know if I'll have any new episodes released, but by Monday, we'll be starting that up again, okay? Now, what I really need to do, very shortly, within the next week, I'm going to do this. I promise you. I have to find the time, but I will do it. I need to update my gaming schedule calendar. My calendar is over. The new year is here. So this calendar that I have on the wall in my office is outdated. I've purchased the new one. There it is. It's right. It's over there. I've purchased the replacement calendar. All right. What I need to do is I need to put that replacement calendar on my wall, and I actually need to fill it out. Now, I think I bought the wrong one. And what I mean by that,
you bought the wrong one.
Yeah, I bought the smaller version.
He needs a giant calendar.
Here it is. I bought the smaller version, which is actually fine. It's going to be a little bit more cramped on the wall, but it'll probably be easier to fill it out.
It's funny. He used to buy these all the time. Now what he does is, and this is dumb for many reasons. He has an iPhone. The iPhone, guys, this is going to shock you. The iPhone has a calendar app, right? You can add events to the calendar app. I know, this is shocking technology we live in this day and age, right? And yet, DSP, like, when he stopped buying these, he was like, I decided I'm not gonna buy this calendar anymore. Now what he does is he writes it on a piece of paper. And I'm just like, whoa. Why write it on a piece of paper when you have a phone. Like, you can literally just add it to your phone. Which, even then, is still kind of stupid because, again, he could just buy the game ahead of time, and like all this bullshit that goes on, it's all Clown World. This dude is just fucking. He treats it so boomery. Ugh.
But this is the wall calendar that I'm going to use. I'm going to populate it with all the games coming out in 2015 that I'm interested in playing. And I want to make a video of that for you guys so you know, gee, what can I expect? What's Phil going to be playing? I honestly don't even know the release dates of the games this month. I know that there's the Resident Evil 1 remake, which is the remake of the GameCube remake. That comes out this month. And I know that Dying Light's later on this month. And that's all I know. I don't even know what else is coming out this month, if anything. So I'm definitely going to be updating this and filling this out and doing a video of that in the next week, okay? So I know for those of you, gee, what's Phil playing next? This is how you're going to find out. But in the meantime, you can expect those 3 playthroughs that I'm doing right now to be continuing along with my year-end series. And you may say to yourself, all right, well, what are those year-end series? Have you decided? And the answer is yes. In addition to the best and worst DLCs of 2014, which I finished, we're also going to be doing, as I said, the most disappointing games of 2015. After that, it's actually going to be the worst gaming trends of 2014, okay? After that, it's going to be the fan-nominated funniest moments of 2014, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about how you can nominate moments for that in a moment, because we're going to start talking about the website in a moment, which is great. And then finally, they're going to have the Game of the Year awards. And I'm hoping that, you know, it's probably going to honestly take me about 2 weeks to get through all those series. So you can expect those 3 games to be continuing for the 2 weeks and those year-end series to be continuing all along with them, all right? And what I'm hoping is that by the time that the 2 weeks is up, that I'm caught up now. I can start new content and or new games, and I can kind of reassess what I want to do. Because this year I do have new shows and new stuff that I want to start. I've already told you previously about some of these ideas. A show about movies, the return of Project 7, a show that's a parody show about YouTube. And I really want to start those up, but I need to get the year-end series done before I can even consider working on those. So that's what to expect in the next couple of weeks.
I'm so hyped for the new Project 7, guys. I don't know about you, but I'm hyped. I'm ready.
So the good thing is, thank goodness, that it's a light January, right? There's really not much going on at all this month. If this month had been crazy filled with more games, I would have been slammed. I don't even know how I would have done the year-end series. The good news is it's not. It's a slow month for gaming, and so we can take our time, okay? So now let's talk. The glorious return of thekingofhate.com. My website, which has unfortunately been down for about a month and a half. I'm not even going to talk about that anymore. We're going to move forward positively. The site's back. When I say the site's back, I mean the homepage is back. Where daily I'm now going to be posting up the schedule for the next day, as well as all my current ongoing or recent playthroughs. There's also the search function on the homepage where you can search for any playlist that I've ever done. And from what I'm to understand, it is shortly, if it hasn't already been updated, it's going to be updated so you can search for videos from any of my channels on YouTube ever, including the original Dark Side Phil channel, the King of Hate HD, my...
You see how useful this site technically was? Now it's gone. That site is gone. Now when you go to his website, it just takes you to the forums, to KG's forums. That's where his link takes you.
My original vlogging channel, Red Dead DSP, where I did my playthroughs of LA Noire and Red Dead Redemption. What's the other one? It's like DSP or Dark Side Phil Final Fantasy 13. That's the one where I did the playthrough of Final Fantasy 13. That's going to be on there, in addition to the current channels, DSP Gaming and the King of Hate Vlogs. So any of my content ever on YouTube that you wanted to find, you're going to be able to search for in one fell swoop, one search engine, and it cuts through all the crap. I can't tell you guys, over the past couple of years since YouTube changed their fucking search algorithm in early 2013, how many people say, Phil, I can't find your stuff anymore. I wanted to watch you play so-and-so a game. I go into YouTube, I type in, Dark Side Phil or DSP Gaming in the name of the game, and I get a bunch of crap. I get other people playing the game. I get people shitting on you in hater videos. I get all this crap. I can't get your content because YouTube changed their search algorithm. It's a piece of shit. Well, guess what? Now you can use the website to find all my stuff like that. Cuts through all the bullshit, doesn't find any of that unrelated nonsense. It just brings you to what you're looking for, okay? But not only
YouTube
that, but the
outlasted the
forums
website,
are now
dude.
live. As of right now, they went live about an hour and a half ago, I'd say. So people are jumping onto the forums right now and registering. And I'm going to tell you right now, go to thekingofhate.com, go to the forums, and register as soon as possible. I'm going to repeat myself.
Why?
Do that as soon as possible,
Why?
and here's why.
Okay.
Because you know, undoubtedly, there's going to be idiots who are going to try to rush there and try, oh, I'm going to register all these names. Oh, I know that there's a certain person who always watches Phil's content, so I'm going to register their name and 10 variations of it, so if they actually want to register for the site, they can't get it. That's already happened to a couple people. So I highly recommend the second that you get a free chance, go over there, register, put up your avatar, you'll get the confirmation email, register or confirm your account.
It's funny it says all this, but a fake DJ Runo was able to trick DSP into thinking that was the actual DJ Runo. That's what I thought was. I still think that's funny. A troll pretended to be DJ Runo, made a name that was a parody, and DSP just figured it out that he thought it was the real DJ Runo.
So yeah, you at least have it. Even if you're not going to post right away, just get it in the system so that people don't try to steal your identity over there, okay?
So you have it.
I want to forewarn everyone. There's going to be problems with the website. I can almost guarantee you that there's going to be times that the website's going to go down. There's going to be times when you're going to have issues with the website. Already someone didn't get the confirmation email, and I found out that supposedly if you read the confirmation email in Outlook, it doesn't even work. Like, it's blank. You have to try to read it in another kind of email browser or something, okay?
Email browser?
But yeah, there's going to be issues. So I ask that you be patient, especially these first couple of weeks where the mods are just kind of settling in and learning their roles, and we're going to be looking for new mods. So if you start posting on the website, you really like it, and you'd like to positively contribute, be on the lookout. I will be, in the next couple of weeks mentioning if I'm looking for new mods or not for the website. Okay, already some overzealous people kind of already asked, and I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm not going to mod anyone. We are going to be looking for new trial mods soon where you could basically kind of mess around on the website and try to be a mod and see how well you do. And if you do well, maybe we'll make you a permanent mod, okay? But I want
every
people to go over there and start posting.
became a real mod,
the things that I need the
I don't know
most
about
right
the
now.
forums though, but that's
Number
not always
one,
been.
I need you guys to start nominating the funniest moments of 2014 because as I just mentioned in those year-end series, we're going to get to that within a week or two, and I need to have all of your funniest moment nominations. So what I'm going to do this year is different than usual. Sometimes what I would do is take all your nominations and put them into polls and have everyone vote. We're not going to do that this year because we're so far behind. What I'm going to do is just look at the nominations that you guys do on this website, and I'm going to pull my favorites and make a whole montage of all the funniest moments. There is already a section on the forums for this. So you need to go check it out. You'll see that there's a section where you can post up stuff about the year-end series and stuff like that. That's where I would like you to start posting that. Because I need you to nominate all in one thread. Let's make one thread for it. Everyone nominate your funniest moments. How do you nominate? It's very simple. Say, part whatever of this playthrough. Please link the video in your post so that way we can actually all watch it on the forum thread. And in addition, if you can actually either give a timestamp or even have the video so people know how to have a video play at a timestamp so we know when the moment happens rather than us all just sitting there for 15 minutes trying to shift through the video. Where is this funny moment, okay?
Where is it?
That's going to be an immense help, and that's going to help the funniest moments montage tremendously. Okay? Number 2, there is a section already for this on the forums. For fan-submitted logos for the year-end series, artwork or splash pages for the year-end series, and also for the ongoing playthroughs. Right now, the one I need artwork for the most is Grand Theft Auto 5 first-person shooter mode. Because I didn't ask for any, I completely forgot, and I didn't have forums for anyone to post this stuff up on anyway. What I recommend if you are going to be posting up logos or pictures, anything, any kind of an image, use the website Imager.com or Image Shack. There's tons of them that you can use, and then you can post the link right into the thread, and we can all look at it together. Don't try to locally upload the file to the website, because that's not going to work. It's going to take up space, and we don't want that. There's plenty of third-party websites you can use to upload the logos and or pictures, and then just link it in the thread, okay? Those are the 2 things that we're definitely looking for, like as majorly, like right now, Red Alert, stuff that I need right away. Because the sooner I get these logos, the easier I can use them, or more quickly I can use them in the year-end series, and it's going to help everyone overall, okay? Now, I just want to make it clear, I'm very busy right now. I'm working on year-end series. I'm working on these new playthroughs, and I'll be honest with you guys, I've been so busy that I don't even have time to do stuff that's like normal stuff. Like I need to make a phone call to schedule for people to come and install a new toilet in the master bathroom.
Has to call. I thought his dad was fixing the toilet. Now he needs to call someone.
And I haven't even had a chance to do that this week. That's
What?
how busy I've been. So understand that I'm going to try to make an effort to jump on those forums and participate, but you may not see me actively on there right away posting up because I'm so busy right now. Once we get through the year-end stuff, once things calm down a little bit, hopefully we're going to get through all that. If you have a problem with the website, like for example, oh, it's down, or oh, I'm not getting the confirmation email, you can tweet me or you can tweet the Mighty Onyx on Twitter. Both of us will try to review. Now, I don't know anything about the technical side of shit. So understand, if I get something like that, if it's not a quick fix or something I can easily answer, I'm going to be redirecting it to Onyx and or other people who can figure this out, okay? So I just want to make that clear. If you email or if you tweet me about, oh, I didn't get my confirmation email, don't expect a direct reply from me. Oh, well, I re-enabled the email. I don't know anything about that, okay? I'm not a technical-minded person when it comes to websites at all. I don't control that. I don't know anything about it, all right? But we'll do our best to try to answer your concerns as they come. Now, the one thing that I want to say, and I want to address, I'm going to address it very briefly, and we're going to move right on because there's no reason to dwell on it. Earlier this week, it is 100% confirmed that this past Sunday and Monday that I was attacked. I was attacked by, I guess, one or more persons. I have no clue because I don't even know what the situation is. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why in particular it happened. No one directly came to me and said anything. Basically, as I was trying to do fan appreciation matches in Advanced Warfare with people on Sunday, and then also on Monday when I was trying to live stream my Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix stream, I got DDoSed. You might say, what is that? What's a DDoS? I don't understand. It's a denial of service, and what it means is that basically someone got a hold of my IP address, which is my location on the internet, and they sent an insane amount of data, packets of data, to that address. And what it unfortunately does is if you're live streaming, it kicks you off the internet for a few minutes because there's so much data coming through your IP address that it can't handle it, and it just completely shuts down. They also attacked the website. So the website, which wasn't even live yet, I hadn't even had anyone going over there, also got attacked, and that was down for a while. And I don't know what's going on. And the bottom line is I don't give a shit. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm angry about it, and I'm not going to say I'm upset about it. The bottom line is I'm glad that all the years that I've been doing this on YouTube, if it took this long for it to happen, I think that's a good thing. 6 years before some person decided to target me for whatever kind of malicious attack or whatever the hell it was. But it definitely happened, and yeah, there's confirmed proof. There's people who are tweeting about it. Oh, we got him and all. I don't care. I don't even care what it's about. The bottom line is, now my IP is protected, so at least for my live streams here, you're not going to see, hopefully, the streams go down because I found out how they were getting my IP address, so I got rid of that. I put up safeguards against that, and we've done our best to put safeguards up on the website about it as well. So hopefully, fingers crossed, these guys aren't super intelligent and find some crazy way around it to find all the information anyway. If they do, they do, and there's nothing I could do about it. Unfortunately, cyber crimes like this aren't really taken very seriously by many people, especially when it's someone like me, an individual, versus say, oh, all of Sony was DDoSed. That's different than Darkside Phil, who was just doing a live stream, was DDoSed. No one really cares. Local law enforcement doesn't have a cyber crimes division that handles it. All I could really do is try to file like a claim. There's an online form you can fill out with the FBI, and they're probably not going to do anything with it. I'm just going to have to put up with it. Now, unfortunately, their only real way, 100%.
I'm low-key kind of surprised he did not clickbait this about the attack. But then again, he does have Scott there, so maybe he didn't want to compete with Scott. Maybe.
To protect myself from being attacked again is to get what's called a VPN. All right? What that would do is it would completely protect my network
from
any kind of an attack like that. The problem is that it creates latency. And so for me to live stream, it may actually destroy the live streams and make them either lagged up or unable to stream altogether. And I don't want to have to do that, obviously. You know what I mean? I'm just an individual trying to live stream on a daily basis. It's insane that someone would actually even bother doing this, but they did. And, you know, it is what it is, right? It's just more of the same. I got people who are trying to dox me. I got people who are trying to track me down in real life and send pizzas to my fucking house and prank call me at night, which has happened. I got people who are now trying to shut down my streams. Whatever. These people are going to do this malicious shit no matter what, and the more that I address it, the more attention I'm giving to it, which is why this is it. I'm not addressing it again. I'll just let you know if it's happening. But as of right now, it happened on Monday. I'm hoping it never happens again. We'd put safeguards in place. Fingers crossed it doesn't happen again.
Man.
Okay, everybody?
Back then,
All
he
right.
was saying, I'm not sharing any more information.
Excuse me. All right. So now let's move on. Let's talk about... I already talked about the rest of this month, how this month is going to go, right? In regards to the 3 playthroughs going on with the year-end series.
I don't know why I can't
Once the year-end series conclude, we're going to see how far I've gotten with the playthroughs that I'm in. Again, Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, Dragon Age Inquisition, and the Grand Theft Auto 5 first-person shooter playthrough. At that time, I will decide, do I want to continue moving on with these? Do I want to, like, for example, in the case of Grand Theft Auto, say, all right, maybe I played it enough and I don't feel like playing it anymore. We're going to then reassess at that time, all right? Because there's new content this month. Like I said, there's the HD re-release of Resident Evil 1. I believe there's a DLC coming out, like a standalone DLC for Saints Row, which I know, what the hell, it's been over a year since they had one. That's kind of weird that it's coming out then, right? And there's also going to be Dying Light at the end of the month, which is a game that I'm very interested in, and I'm sure you're probably very interested too. It seems like when it comes to like these scary survival horror style games, those are the games that people like to watch me play the most. I mean, Evil Within and Alien Isolation both were fan favorites this past hardcore gaming season. So I'm definitely looking forward to that, and I'm hoping that we'll have enough time this month to do the year-end series, to play the new stuff, and to continue on with the other stuff. Hopefully by the end of the month I'll know exactly what games are coming out when, and I'll give you more of an idea of what to expect, okay? But one thing that's definitely coming this month in particular, by the end of the month, I talked about this last Hate Live, and I want to talk about it again right now, is Patreon. And so you might be saying to yourself, oh, Phil talked about this. How's he going to do it? How's he going to implement it? I talked about this previously. What Patreon is, patreon.com. It's a website where a content creator like myself can set up an account and say, listen, this is a way for you to basically support myself in my efforts to continuously put out the content that I do on a daily basis. So rather than just saying, Phil has a PayPal account, I'm going to try to send him several $100s. No, this is an agreement that I'm going to continue to make ongoing content for you, and that you are going to basically try to go the extra mile to support me doing that. Financially, basically. I'm not going to beat around the bush here. That's what it is. So there'll be a minimum amount that you could donate a month, and you'll become a Patreon. And then, of course, people who want to do more than that will be able to do that as well. How does it work? Well, basically, I am going to do something special for those who become Patreon supporters. However, I want to make this very clear, and I did last time, and I'll do it again, that I'm not going to be doing any kind of content that is paywall blocked. So there will never be a piece of content that only Patreon members will see. What it means is that Patreon members may get advanced access to certain content, such as maybe an exclusive stream that I do for Patreon members, or something like that, all right? I don't want to ever say,
what?
See. What it means is that Patreon members may get advanced access to certain content, such as maybe an exclusive stream that I do for Patreon members, or something like that, all right? I don't want to ever say, because you can't afford to financially toss some money my way to help me keep doing this the way that I want to do it, that you don't get content. That's ridiculous. Everyone should get the content for free like it always has been. The difference here is that, unfortunately, this past year, when I did move to the state of Washington, I lost.
I don't understand what he's saying. Is he saying that he's gonna do Patreon exclusive streams, but then how are they free if you need to be on Patreon? Oh, this is the same song and dance like nonsense he said about the Rockathon. If you guys don't remember the Rockathon, you pretty much had to pay, hit the Patreon goal for him to play Rock Band 4, a game he got for free, by the way. And he kept saying, people say that the Rockathon is paywalled? They're wrong, okay? It really made no sense, because he wouldn't do it if he didn't hit the goal. So how is it not behind a paywall? You see how that doesn't make any sense? And it's the same shit here. It's such... I am really surprised how like there are people out there. This is shit that DSP has always done. He gives you like two conflicting statements. How does his chat as fans not see it? This is what I've been talking about in like, yeah, I think I mentioned this in the content video I did, but he has weeded out all of the people who have critical thought, who have a critical brain, who hear things and like question. So all he has left in his little community are people who don't know how to think, pretty much. And they just listen to him and they believe whatever he says. Like, you could tell them that the sky is green and they'll be like, I agree, Phil. The sky is green.
A chunk of my viewing audience for whatever reason. I don't know if it was because they didn't want to wait 2 to 3 weeks for me to move. I don't know if something pissed people off. And the bottom line is there's no reason to even dwell on it or worry about it because I'm moving forward positively and I'm doing what I'm doing. And, you know, I have to at least find a way to make up for that in order to continue doing what I'm doing and to pay my bills. Unfortunately, like I said, the move is really what's holding me back right now, is the fact that I have a bunch of debt racked up from moving to the state of Washington. Now, within a certain period of time, I should be able to get paid off, but right now I can't take a huge, dip in income because of this happening. And there's been people who for years have said, Phil, why don't you accept donations? And I said, because in good conscience, I couldn't accept donations when I'm making a decent amount of money doing this on YouTube. And the bottom line is that this year there was a big decline and I need to make up for that, and that's why we're doing Patreon, okay? So it's going to go live this month. Why haven't I done it already? It's on YouTube. And the bottom line is that this year there was a big decline and I need to make up for that, and that's why we're doing Patreon, okay? So it's going to go live this month.
It is funny to me. That's also his legacy, because that's what, look at YouTube now, what he's doing. You gotta make up for the decline from Twitch. We gotta make up for that, man. Slowly we're gonna be growing. Growth.
Haven't I done it already? There's a couple reasons. Number one, because I was more focused on just getting to this new year, working on the year-end series, and getting the website up, because all that stuff was kind of lingering, and I wanted to get that out of the way before I moved on to the next big hurdle. That was number one. Number two, because there is an idiot on there who's impersonating me and thinks it's funny to say nasty things about me and make a fake account, which, by the way, violates Patreon's terms of service. The problem is I don't know what's going on, because both myself and multiple people has sent notices to Patreon saying, please take down this falsified Darkside Phil channel, because it's not legit. It even says right on it, it's a parody channel, which is against the terms of service of Patreon, and they still didn't take it down. It's been like over 3 weeks. They still didn't do it. So I don't know if they're just being lazy about it. I don't know if they don't read their inbox. I don't know if they've been gone for the holidays. You would think if you operate a legitimate business, they would take down accounts that say in big letters, parody account at the top, but they haven't done it yet. Once it's down, then I can set up my account, a real account, and we can start to have a dialogue about what kind of stuff would you like to see if you are a Patreon, right? If you're a patron of my arts, as they would say. You're a patron who wants to see me continue creating the content that I create. What would you want to get in advance? Would it be an exclusive stream once a month, maybe, that I do where we talk about certain things or I address certain topics? Would it be gameplay? Would you want to see some gameplay? Maybe a game that normally I wouldn't have played, and you want to see me play it in advance, you know what I mean? An exclusive stream, and then I upload it later on in the week for everyone else. We'll have to see. All right? We'll have to see. And it's going to be dependent on you. And that's another reason why I waited to do this, is because now that I have the forums, I can actually get legit feedback about it, rather than me talking about it on a video like this, and then a bunch of negative people all leaving nasty comments, rather than a legitimate conversation about it. On a forum, we can actually control that environment. We can have people have an intelligent conversation, especially for those who are interested in doing it, okay? Okay. So, that's the bottom line. That's what's going on right now. And I just want to let you know that that's coming. I don't have a date for you yet, because I want to get that parody bullshit account off the website before I consider doing it legitimately. And I know it sucks, because I'm sure Patreon would love to have me on there right away, but they're dragging their own feet. So as soon as they decide to actually do their due diligence and take down this erroneous page, then I will actually jump on there, make my own account, start setting it up properly, and go from there. Okay? Alright, so now, to finish off this first segment, what I would like to do is tell you about this coming year, the plans that I actually have for the year. There's 4 big kind of there's 3 big milestones coming this year that I'm going to have to be doing or busy doing stuff and or travel and stuff that I need to tell you about so you're aware, okay? And then we're going to talk about, long view wise, what kind of stuff you can expect. All right. So first of all, excuse me. Boy, I have a sip of water here and I explode. Coming up relatively soon, it's actually in about 2 weeks' time from today, is Leanna and my 3-year anniversary. It's the 3rd anniversary of the first time when she came to visit me in Connecticut, and we spent like a long weekend together, basically like an extended date. Keep in mind, back then we didn't live in the same state, so she would travel on a train for about 2 to 3 hours to come see me, and then we'd spend a long weekend together, and then she'd go home for the rest of the month. And that was really the most we got to see each other for over 2 years, until finally this past June we moved in together here in Washington. And boy, am I glad that's over, by the way, because I'm very much like living with her way more. That was just so stressful.
You like living with her. You like living with Leanna. I agree. I bet.
Past June, we moved in together here in Washington. And boy, am I glad that's over, by the way, because I'm very much like living with her way more. That was just so stressful, planning the trips, and oh, it was a nightmare. It's so much nicer to be able to live.
Now, great face. He says this, right? How it's so stressful to plan a train ticket, and it was so stressful, man. After Leanna, let's fly in a bitch. Let's plan with the airplanes. This dude is like afraid, terrified even, to find a girl in his own state because I guess it's it is kind of some red flags for some people to that for someone to get like a girl to like fly in, because usually you're just trying to isolate someone from their family and all this stuff so that this person can't really have anywhere to go, pretty much. And that is, it's gonna sound fucked up, but that's kind of what happened with Leanna, to be honest. Like, it is very specific, right? For him to move all the way to Washington, not to Florida, not to, like, wherever. No, just go all the way to Washington. And I but I feel like she only stayed for as long as she did because she didn't know what to do. Like, she was trying to figure a way. I honestly kind of feel by the time she got a job was when she was like, yeah, fuck this, right? That's why I think, like, he probably wanted Kat, because I feel like, I don't know about that. Because now that I think about it, I don't think that makes much sense, but I think Leanna specifically, he did not want her to have a job, because I feel by the time she got a job, she kind of realized DSP is kind of a bum, you know what I mean?
With your significant other, let me tell you. But our anniversary is coming up, and we want to do something for it, and we've been discussing things that we can do. And I do know that I'm going to be in the midst of a bunch of stuff, like I said, the ongoing playthroughs in the year-end series. And it may not be exactly on our anniversary, but coming up in the next few weeks, we're going to maybe plan to go into Seattle for a day or two. And what I mean by that is maybe we drive to Seattle one day. Well, I'm an idiot. We're in Seattle, but we're kind of on the outskirts of Seattle. Let's put it that way. We don't live directly in downtown Seattle.
You don't live in Seattle.
Insano expensive to live in the downtown area of a busy city. So what we want to do is kind of drive into the city one day and spend the rest of that day, maybe have a nice dinner and do whatever that night, and then stay at maybe a hotel for overnight, and then the next day go out and do some more fun stuff and then come back. That's really what we want to do. But we don't know when that's going to be yet. We're going to let everyone know as we plan these things out, okay? About what exactly is going on in regards to that trip, because I want you to know when it is. I don't want to just spring it on you. Oh, by the way, we're go ahead and do this out of nowhere. Now you're like, oh man, well, and then I thought you were going to be doing ongoing gameplay or whatever, right? So that is coming up, and I'll let you know when that happens. And more than likely, if we do anything interesting, we may vlog it, okay? This is a good one in March. Coming up in March, we are going to be attending Emerald City Comic Con. Now, for those of you who don't know what that is a comic book, video game, sci-fi, television, movie, music, any kind, pop culture convention that's actually held in downtown Seattle. And we've bought our tickets way earlier, way when they went on sale, way earlier in 2014. We have the weekend passes. So what we're going to probably plan to do, is take 1 to 2 days that weekend and head into the city and attend the con. And so we're going to be there in person for 1 to 2 days as we attend this con. We'll probably be vlogging, maybe even, getting some cool stuff while we're there. If anyone is in the area and planning to attend the con, there's high potential you may run into us and may be able to meet up with us and, meet and greet, have a little handshake, a little discussion or whatever. If you want anything autographed or whatever, I've never had a problem autographing anything anyone ever asked me to autograph. I'm totally cool with that. So we will be there. So I just want to throw that out there. We'll be talking more and more about that as March gets closer.
Doing autographs.
But we are going to be attending Emerald City Comic Con. It's the first real major event we've done since, seriously, in person. It's the first event we've done since, oh my God, Screw Attack Gaming Convention in 2013. Yeah, SGC 2013 was the last time we were in person anywhere. So we are going to be doing this in March, okay? Now, fast forward to way, way, way later in the year. We're talking around November-ish, okay, of 2015. Leanna's brother is getting married. Her brother, who lives way back on the East Coast, is getting married, and all of her family is coming together to attend this wedding. And she says, I got to be there. I'm sure we're going to get an invite. I got to be there. I said, all right, family is very important, and, we got to be there. So that is going to be a trip that we're going to be doing in November of this year. And I don't know when yet. Is it going to be around Thanksgiving? Is it going to be before Thanksgiving? Is it going to be during a busy gaming week?
I love that he says this, but then he tells us later, they said that we could, that I forced her not to go to wedding. That's not true. You were going to give it text. This dude sat in January saying, we have to go. We have to go to this wedding. When it comes and goes, can't go. The trolls were gonna ruin it. How did he know the trolls were gonna ruin it? Because they found dates? I mean, sure, but at the same time, like, Leanna can't go by herself? Like, this is what's insane. I think I've said this even back then when it was relevant. If the concern was, oh, if I go there, the trolls are gonna ruin it. But DSP, you could stay home and Leanna could go. Because if that was such a big concern about the trolls, then Leanna could go and Leanna could be like, my waffle couldn't come because the trolls, they don't, and he didn't want to ruin the wedding. He wished he could be here. Or she could say that he's sick or some shit. I don't know. I mean, Leanna, it seems in DSP land, I feel like I'm the only one who gives his girlfriends all, like, the benefit of the doubt, to be honest. Like, the way that DSP talks about Leanna, Kat, etc., he makes them sound as if they're incapable of doing anything. Like, it acts as if, like, his girlfriends or wife, whatever the fuck, are babies. And he's the only one that, like, knows how to work life. And I'm like, am I the only one who thinks that they could live? Like, I don't know what it is. I know, like, some people in the troll community can think whatever. It's not even that. I don't blame, like, if any of you guys who watch my videos think that Cat's an idiot, that's fine. That's your opinion. I'm not gonna, like, judge that. I'm mostly dogging on this guy about all that. I don't know why. Because, like, why can't Leanna go? This is the point I'm making. Holy shit. Why can't Leanna just go to the wedding by herself? She can't fly a plane by herself, but she was able to go on a train by herself? I don't fucking know. This is fucking...
Who knows?
Bananas.
Alright? But that's coming later this year. Once we have dates and things set for me to let you know exactly what to expect with that, I will definitely let you know so you will know what to expect with that as well. Sure, we'll probably vlog it a little bit, but we're not going to vlog her whole family. I mean, she wants to, that's fine. I'm not going to do that, but I might vlog a little bit of the trip or whatever. So there is going to be some time in November where, even though it's the hardcore gaming season, this is more important, and we're going to take some personal time out for that, okay? Okay, so that's coming in November. So basically what I just outlined for you are our rough plans, and we do kind of plan maybe 1 or 2 more times this year to possibly go into Seattle and do things as like a little mini weekend trip, and we'll let you know when those are coming up. But unfortunately, and I say this with a heavy heart, because at this point now it's been 2 straight years, we're probably more than likely not going on vacation anywhere this year. You know, last year in 2014, our focus was really moving. And so the trips that we took, where we came out here to Seattle, sure, we did it for tourism, to see if we liked the area, but also to house hunt. And that was our trip in April of last year that we did. And then our second trip was in June when we moved out here. And that was it. That's all that we did, basically. There was no other travel that we did in 2014. Coming up in 2015, quite honestly, the bottom line is, between the fact that we have to travel back to the East Coast for this wedding, all right, and we know that's going to be a pretty expensive venture, and the fact that I am currently, as I said, I'm not lying, we've got a significant amount of debt that we're trying to pay down from moving out here. I don't think it's going to be viable for us to go anywhere else on vacation. And, you know, we've talked over the past couple of years that we either want to go to Vegas, but now that we've moved out here, more than likely what we want to do is go to California. If you guys remember back in 2012, that first year when we were dating, we actually went to Florida together for a trip, and we went to Universal Studios, and we went to SeaWorld, and we did all this fun stuff in Florida, and we kind of want to do similar stuff in California, where maybe we walk the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and we go to all those museums out there, and we go to Universal Studios out there, and one thing we definitely want to do is we want to go to Disneyland, because neither of us have actually officially been to Disneyland. I actually was there once when I was kind of like in my late teens, early 20s, but I was with a couple guys who just didn't want to really go on rides or nothing. They were just there to walk around because we got free passes to get in. And really, it wasn't like going to Disneyland.
They didn't want to go on the rides. They got passes to walk around, but they didn't want to ride any of the rides. What? Yeah, I want to go to Disney World. But I don't want to ride the rides. I just want to walk around like it's a museum. Okay.
Rides and really enjoy. We want to do that, but it's not viable right now. I mean, being completely a reasonable adult, sure, could I rack up even more credit card debt to go and do this trip? I absolutely could. But until I pay down the existing debt more, there's no way that I think we're going to be able to go on a vacation this year. And I know that sucks. I wanted to do it so bad. It's 2 years straight now where it's looking like we're not going to have any real vacation time. It's going to be me working all the time, constantly playing games, working on playthroughs for you guys, working on these new series that I'm going to be doing this year. It's going to be a lot of work, but I think that overall, as it's going to pay off, as I pay off all this debt that we incurred when we moved here, and hopefully within the next year to 2 years, we're in a much better financial position. Maybe in 2016 we can look to finally go on a vacation, but for me, it's pretty much going to be, I forget the word for it. You know what I mean? Something to the grindstone. I always forget the saying. What the hell is it?
Nose to the grindstone?
Pedal to the... No, not pedal to the grindstone.
Pedal to the grindstone.
The saying. But basically working hard to try to get back to a position where I don't have a ton of debt lingering over me. All right? I've been in my life, many times in my life, where I had a ton of debt lingering over me. And it wasn't until I started doing YouTube that I was able to pay all that debt off. So now that I have a little bit more back, I want to do the responsible thing like I did last time and not just go nuts spending a lot of money, but instead kind of pull back this year. Good thing is I have a new gaming PC. I don't need any kind of real equipment upgrades or anything this year whatsoever. The house is here. The house is fully furnished because we did all that last year. So really there's not too much that we're going to have to spend a lot of money on, and hopefully we can get that kind of out of there. You know what I mean? We can get all that paid off, and hopefully by the end of this year in a much better financial position. So maybe next year we can look to do that kind of stuff. So that's kind of our short-term outlook and long-term outlook. The short-term, you know what we're doing I'm doing in January. You know what's coming up long-term, and it is what it is. It is what it is. Some people are saying pedal to the metal. Nose to the grindstone. That's it. Nose to the grindstone. That's the saying that I was looking for. Everyone in the stream chat literally said it at the same time. So thank you for that. I got to remember to keep your nose to the grindstone. That's basically going to be this year. Me busting my ass to try to entertain you through new series and the ongoing playthroughs that I've always done. And hopefully things will work out. That by the end of this year, like I said, we'll see. We'll reassess. Maybe halfway through the year, we'll reassess, and I'll let everyone know how things are going. Okay? All right. So really, the only other thing that I really want to talk about in this first segment of the show is the only one real big piece of news that's happened since the last podcast that I did 2 weeks ago. If you remember, the big news story when I did this podcast 2 weeks ago was that this movie, The Interview, was canceled. That Sony Pictures said they are not releasing this movie anywhere. It's not going to be on demand. It's not going to have a theatrical release. No, it's not going to be released at all because there was this big hacking that happened to Sony, supposedly by North Korean hackers or terrorists or whatever you want to call them, who are so displeased that the movie featured Kim Jong-un and that he gets assassinated in the movie in a parody manner. What a difference. Seriously, what a difference 2 weeks makes. Because in the past 2 weeks, how things have completely flip-flopped. I don't even think I can talk any. Could you have ever seen any more of a 180? First of all, Sony Pictures said, yes, we now agree that if theaters want to release the movie, they can. So very few theaters really have. Few small release, but the movie really hasn't seen a big theatrical release. But all of a sudden, over Christmas and this holiday break, the movie's on demand everywhere. You can get it on Xbox Live. You can get it on PlayStation Network. You can get it on this one and this one. You can basically get the movie on demand anywhere. Any means you want. So even though the movie didn't get a theatrical release, probably more people fucking got it on demand digitally than any movie before, I would almost think, because it had such hype and controversy surrounding it that everyone probably said, I gotta see this movie. I didn't see it. I was one of the few people that I kind of said, I really wasn't too thrilled with the premise of the movie anyway. I don't think that murdering a world dictator is kind of a funny thing, but maybe that's just me. But I almost was one of the few people that I kind of said, I really wasn't too thrilled with the premise of the movie anyway. I don't think that murdering a world dictator is kind of a funny thing.
It's not funny to murder a dictator. Well, I hope DSP does not watch Inglourious Bastards. That's all I gotta say about that. I mean...
But maybe that's just me.
I don't think you like that movie.
Tons of people must have seen this movie. And, have you ever seen anyone flip-flop or wishy-wash on a movie like that? Seriously. At the same time, it was weird because it was like almost everyone came out of the woodwork. From Jimmy Kimmel to President Obama, people were coming out during that week and saying this movie should not have been banned. This is censorship of the biggest degree, and when you do this, the terrorists win. And basically, you're saying that terrorists can now just threaten to hack anything, and we'll have to change our way of life because you didn't release this movie. It's a parody, and it should be covered under freedom of speech. And maybe that's what made Sony change their mind. I don't know. I don't know if what you guys think. If any of you have seen the movie, and maybe in the comments of the video, you could say if you saw it and if you liked it or not. I didn't see it. I'll be honest. I like Seth Rogen and James Franco. Do I think that they're the funniest shit ever? No. But I've seen a few movies, like I saw This Is the End. I actually really like that movie. But there's other movies.
He liked that movie? That movie fucking sucked. He liked that one. Mr. Movie Buff likes that movie. Okay.
They've done that I didn't like as much. Pineapple Express was one of them. I didn't really like Pineapple Express. So
he liked This Is the End, but not Pineapple Express. I mean, Pineapple Express is not a great movie either, but it's better than This Is the End. That's all I gotta say about that.
Oh, it's hit or miss for me. And for me, it was like, do I need to rush out and get this movie on demand immediately or whatever? No, I didn't even really care. And quite honestly, I didn't really hear too many people talking about it. Besides the controversy, I haven't anyone said, oh, I saw the movie and it was amazing or anything like that. So, I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe I will eventually get it. I'm just not sure if... I haven't looked into it at all. I'm curious, did they take advantage of it and instead of letting you rent it, did you have to buy it? Because now they do that all the time. Oh, it's not available for rental for $6 or $5. You have to buy the movie digitally for $20. Like, what? Obviously, if I can get the movie, I could rent it too. You're just being a dick and not allowing me to rent it. You're making me buy it, which I don't want the fucking movie permanently. I just want to see it once. I don't know. People are now commenting in the stream chat. Some people are saying they think that there was no hack or there was no issue with the Pineapple Express. Oh. Some people are saying there was no issue with the interview. The whole thing was faked just to get the movie to actually sell digitally, that there was no actual terrorist threat. Other people are actually saying that the movie was terrible. I see someone saying James Franco is the most annoying fucking person ever in the movie. Wow.
Wow, man.
So anyway, for the dumbest movie, you know what I mean? It's like the dumbest premise for a movie. The amount of controversy and hype and all kinds of news that this movie made because of this was so silly to begin with. But now it seems like this whole censorship issue that really sprung up because of this is completely a moot point. The movie's everywhere. People even saying people got it. It's all over the internet. People are torrenting it. You can get it if you want it. Don't worry. It's not a big deal. Fuck North Korea. The movie's free out there anyway. So, there you have it. Outside of that, it's been slow. It's been quiet. I think that because of the holidays, there has not been a lot really going on in particular. I'm sure there's been a little bullshit here or there, but really not a lot going on in particular newsworthy of the past couple weeks. I get the feeling, give it another week or so, all of a sudden we'll see newsworthy stuff happening again, especially in gaming. Right now, I think people are taking a little bit of a break from it. So, yeah, all right, so that's it for the first segment of Hate Live. When we come back, we're going to have the Scott tribute, and we're going to talk about my whole Christmas celebration with my parents. It's going to be a good second half of the show. Thanks a lot for watching, everyone. We're going to take a short break. I don't know, where did I get this pen from? We're going to take a short break, all right? If you're watching on stream, just hang out. I'll be back shortly.
All right, you'll be back shortly. Let's see, this is 15 minutes in, so... Scott H. tribute. There we go.
Okay, everybody, we're back with the second half of Hate Lie. And as I said, this one's going to be two different segments. So let's actually start with a segment that I wanted to take some personal time here to talk a little bit about a friend of mine. Someone who I've mentioned previously on Hate Live podcast, all right? His name was Scott Hovhannissian. In the Street Fighter community, he was actually went by the nickname Vincent Del Pino. And he was, first of all, much older than pretty much anyone who back in Connecticut, when we were originally kind of coming up and playing Street Fighter, he was about, maybe I'd say 10 years older, if not a little bit even older than that, than most of us. And he is known as one of the people who was kind of around the Street Fighter community in its very early grassroots. So we're talking when Street Fighter 2 was first taking off, he would be the guy that would fly out to Chicago and had friends out in that area who held a tournament called Midwest Championships. And he was not best friend, but a very close friend of Jason Wilson, who was one of the most known, most renowned tournament organizers for Street Fighter, okay, in the whole country. And so basically Scott was very ingrained and involved in the grassroots Street Fighter community before it blew up, before it became this, it's digital now and everyone plays everyone online. It was more about the in-person arcade experience. And I remember when I was growing up in the 90s playing Street Fighter in arcades, I had a friend of mine named T. Carter, who also I've talked about on the podcast before, who befriended this...
I love that when he did the whole tribute for T, everyone yelled at him about how he used it to make money and all this stuff. And you'd think from that, DSP would learn to not do it again. And he does it again. So he can get more people to say, he's using his friend's death for money. I wonder if that's any comment. 3 months ago. DSP needs your money. He really does. Give DSP your money. Well, let's see. Let's do newest first. DSP, piece of shit. What a dick. Phil is talking about a dead friend like that. Oh my god. This is the video that ruined DSP's friendship with Howard? Really? Is that why there's some of these videos? Because Rainbow talked about this? Interesting. It was Red Bronco. Thank you. Okay. Phil, maybe instead of Patreon, you could get something like, I don't know, a job. Those pillows are pretty fucking awesome. Well, now they're gone. The interview sucks. It's boring. Don't bother watching it. And yeah, James Franco truly is the most annoying person in the movie. I don't know. It's James Franco. My condolences for Scott. Okay. I'm sorry about your mother's health. What? Phil likes black guys 100% confirmed. What?
Guy, Scott. I guess what happened was that Scott had kind of started going to local arcades and seeing, gee, what's the local talent like in Connecticut? He was one of the guys who traveled out of the state to play classic Street Fighter, okay? But at the same time, he basically wanted to see what the local flavor was like. Who's good locally? Is there anywhere locally people who may be able to stand up to people outside of the state in a competitive nature? Again, keep in mind, everything was very small. There was maybe 2 or 3 major tournaments in the entirety of the United States in the 90s, okay? And, and so, I remember, apparently befriended my friend T, and he'd gone into our local arcade, which was located actually in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and he went into our local arcade and watched T playing Street Fighter and was like, wow, this kid is really good. And I think that, looking at his skill level, the amount of stuff that he's pulling off that he figured out by himself. Keep in mind, again, this was before the internet, right? Before everything was completely public on the internet. He said basically, wow, this kid could maybe stand up to others and could possibly even, be a tournament level competitor. And he was the person who kind of convinced T, come with me, even if it turns out to be nothing, come with me this once to the Midwest Championships. I want to see if you came out to a tournament and played people from all around the country, how you would do. And he actually, from what I understand, he paid T's way to go out to the Midwest Championship.
He paid T's way. Now, if you listen to him type of the FGC now, he says that now they fly people in, they pay their way, it's all this bullshit, bop-a-da-ba, dude. But here, Scott paid T's way. But I thought no one did that. I thought everyone had to pay, dude.
And T ended up winning the very first ever Street Fighter Alpha 3 tournament ever held in the United States. It was held at Midwest Championships on arcade cabinets. They had gotten advanced copies that you couldn't get anywhere else in the country. Jason Wilson had gotten his hand on advanced copies of Street Fighter Alpha 3. And T ended up winning the whole tournament, to which he got a lot of respect and renown in the mainstream Street Fighter community. They were like, wow, that's pretty awesome that this kid, this unknown player, comes out from nowhere and ends up, winning this major tournament. And so when T came back from that event, he told me all about it or whatever. He's like, you got to start going to tournaments. I was like, how did you even know about this? I don't, again, no internet, right? The internet that existed was so basic. You didn't know about tournaments and stuff. He's like, oh, this new friend that I made, Scott, he's the one who took me out there and you should really meet him. And I remember that T and I went to Scott's house this one time. And we walked inside of Scott's house.
So, wait, so it wasn't even his friend. It was T's friend. This dude is giving respect to a dude he isn't even friends with. Oh my god.
And like I said, he's an older guy. He's about 10, 15 years maybe older than us. So we're talking like probably at that time he was in his late 20s, maybe even early 30s. I don't know. I'm not 100%. I never really asked him how old he was because I didn't give a shit. And we go in his house and he has an arcade cabinet in his freaking house. And he's like, yeah, I play on this all the time. I play Super Turbo. And yeah, he was a Super Turbo player of all things. The game that I'm really good at and I love, it's my favorite game, was his favorite game. He was always really good with Zangief. And Scott was a quirky guy. First of all, he's short, right? He was about... I'd probably say he was maybe
He's so quirky, he's short, guys. You know short people. They're fucking quirky.
Mid 5 feet to 6 feet tall, so he was much shorter than me. So probably mid 5, maybe 5'6", 5'7", something like that. And he had long...
5'6" is short? Wow. I mean, I'm 5'4", so... I mean, I guess to DSP, I must be, like, shorter than short, I guess. Okay.
Brown hair that he always tied back in a ponytail. The guy literally looked like a grunge rocker from, like, the 1980s and maybe even early 90s is kind of how he dressed, all right? And he was always kind of like an outdoorsy guy. He always had a job where he was either hands-on, the kind of guy that would either be fixing arcade cabinets, so he's covered in like oil and shit and transistors, or at one point he was a landscaper, then he was into electronics and speakers. So he was that kind of a guy. He always had like tools around or whatever. So I go in his house, he has a freaking Street Fighter cabinet set up there, and we stand there playing Street Fighter for hours, which was out of control. Over the years, I got to know him a little better, and he always wanted me to travel. He's always trying to convince me to travel and go to these tournaments, to which I was like, I don't know. And then eventually I did. Eventually I started traveling. I went to the East Coast Championships, and he was there with us, and we went to many tournaments and stuff together. And then after that kind of died out, I'd probably say around maybe 2002-ish, I took a step back because that was the time when I was just finishing college, or I was in the middle of college into finishing college.
This looks
and I
more
really
like
wanted to
You
find a
need a
job that I could
Ritzko.
keep, and I wanted to basically pay
I
my
fucking
bills
hate
down so
it.
that I could get my own place and move out of my
Damn
parents'
it.
house. And at that point, for I'd say probably around 2002 to maybe
I don't know why I
2004
can't.
or 5,
draw this.
even though I played Street Fighter, it was more of a
Whatever.
casual thing, and I stopped really going to tournaments and stuff. But I lost track of contact with him during that period of time. And Scott he was a unique personality. Let me explain. He was the kind of guy that he could get along with anyone. He would joke around about stuff. He would be kind of like always the jokester, always trying to be funny. You ever watch when I do a playthrough, or even sometimes when I'm just having a casual conversation or a vlog, and I go, "Oh, you're a dick, man. You guys are a bunch of dicks, man." He used to do that all the time, and he was hilarious. He would just bust out with that in the middle of a conversation, and you'd laugh. And he was a little bit of a weird guy, I'm not gonna lie. My dad knew him because, again, when I was going to the arcade, my dad was like giving me rides to the arcade. This is before when I was a young teenager. I didn't have a car or anything, and Scott would be there playing games and hanging out with T. My dad was like, he's kind of a weirdo, but he was a fun weirdo, and that was the thing.
Right.
Later on, years later, flash forward to the late 90s,
Fun
early
weirdo.
2000s, when we were traveling and going to
Okay.
tournaments together, Scott would have this truck. All right, he would actually have like a SUV/truck, and in the truck, he would have multiple TVs. Keep in mind, before games were portable, before even flat screen TVs existed, he would have big tube TVs and game systems hooked up in the truck into his power adapter so that we could play Street Fighter to and from the way to a Street Fighter tournament in the back of his truck. That's the kind of guy that Scott was. It was pretty wild. The stuff that he you know, he came up with. Pretty insane. I actually, if you want to hear the story, a testament to how funny Scott was of a guy, go back to the episode of Hate Live where I talked about ECC stories. And if you remember, I talked about how in our hotel room at one time we were at the East Coast Championships, I had my laptop, and I had a giant beastly Alienware laptop. I mean, this thing was like literally like this thick. It was a big monster. It weighed like fucking a ridiculous amount. It was super heavy, right? And I guess I had some porn or something on there that I hadn't deleted. And he starts looking on my laptop because I had it in the hotel room. It's my fault, right? It's my laptop. I shouldn't have had that shit in there in the hotel room for everyone to use. And he started playing it for everyone. He goes, "Hey, everyone, come over here and take a look at this giant black meat." And people were like, "What?" And they run over. It's like porn with a black dude banging some.
No, that comment makes sense.
For everyone to use. And he started playing it for everyone. He goes, "Hey, everyone, come over here and take a look at this giant black meat." And people were like, "What?" And they run.
This dude got caught 2 times. 2 times with porn. Back then in 2016.
Run over. It's like porn with a black dude banging some white chick or something. It's like, that was, I mean, he caught me out for having that.
Why was he? Oh my god. Holy shit.
On the laptop, and everyone was laughing a good laugh. And I remember there was this time when we were all asleep in the hotel room, and everyone was like trying to pass out, and they were all joking around having fun. I was serious because I was super serious, and I really wanted to do well at the tournament the next day, while everyone else there was really there to have fun. And we were all trying to go to sleep in the hotel room, and there was like maybe 10 of us all crammed into this hotel room, and Scott was sleeping under the sink, like in the side room, and he would go, "Oh yeah, oh yeah," and he would just start thumping. So it would sound like he was whacking off, and everyone would crack up, and I would get all pissed. "No, I need my sleep. Everyone quiet. I need to sleep." And, I was being an uptight idiot back then. But now I can look back, and I can laugh and say, that's some pretty funny stuff. But yeah, he was a character. He was, if anything, the best.
I just don't mention that today.
He was a character.
Yeah,
man. I don't know what happened with the situation is, because, like I said, I haven't met Scott. Or I haven't met Scott. I haven't seen Scott in over a decade. I mean, it's been that long. I hadn't seen the guy. I hadn't heard about his health. I hadn't been involved with Street Fighter, so it's not like I've heard much about him or seen him or anything. And I do remember at one point, and this was a bad situation, is that probably the early 2000s, I heard that Scott had gotten sick, like really sick, and no one would really talk about what it was. And then all of a sudden, like 2 months after you heard he got sick, you're like, "Oh, did you hear Scott's home? He wants us all to go over there." We went over there, and half of his face was paralyzed and just basically like this, like he couldn't even move it. Come to find out, as I told you, this guy, he always did physical things. He was a landscaper. He got bitten by a deer tick and got Lyme disease. Didn't know it was Lyme disease. Didn't get diagnosed by the doctor properly. And ended up having a stroke. So this guy's whole side of his body and face had basically screwed up during this stroke. But after a few years, he rehabilitated it, and he ended up going back and being, full capacity and living a full life. I know that he had a family and had kids. And I really, like I said, it's been over a decade. This is what happens. You're friendly with people because of a certain thing like Street Fighter, and then you kind of fall out of touch with them. And really, I haven't heard from Scott in a long, long time. And then all of a sudden this week, I kind of got a few messages from people like Howard and a few other people back home who knew Scott, who kind of texted me and said, Phil, I don't know if you heard, but Scott passed away. And I'm like, damn, I don't know what it was from, and is it a shock? Yeah, but at the same time, I haven't seen the guy in so long. I mean, anything could have happened. You know what I mean? Like, anything could have happened. Who knows what happened to the poor guy? But to lose someone like that, I mean, he literally was the guy who motivated people in Connecticut to get off their butts and get out of the local arcades and said, you got to get out there and you got to try to play the other competition because it's a lot of fun to travel and to meet people. And I'll be honest, a lot of the times, you guys have heard me gripe and complain about Street Fighter, and I openly admit that a lot of the time, when I talk about Street Fighter, it kind of has a negative association with it, because I'm like, damn, I spent a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of resources of my life traveling to play Street Fighter, and what did I really get for it? And you can be like that, you can be negative like that, all right? But at the same time, I like to maybe take a positive spin at it and say, well, no, not really, because if I never played Street Fighter, I would never have gotten the confidence to do the kind of stuff that I did, to stand on an arcade cabinet in front of hundreds of people playing a game in person. I was on stage at Evolution in front of thousands of people in the finals of Super Turbo. And if I hadn't done that stuff, would I ever have had the balls to turn on a camera in front of me and talk to it and record myself and do all the stuff that I do today that I've been able to do for a living since 2011? You know what I mean? And in a large capacity, I really think that becoming a competitive Street Fighter player gave me the confidence to do the other things in life that I ended up becoming successful at. So if it wasn't for Scott motivating all of the state of Connecticut and really giving us the initial push to leave the state of Connecticut and go to New Jersey and go to Chicago and travel and meet people from all over, I never would have met half the people I met in my life. I never would have seen half the stuff that I've seen in my life. I never would have experienced a lot of the fun things that I've done in my life, and I may not have even be here. This podcast itself may be owed to the direct actions of Scott Hovhannissian. And you say to yourself, wow,
God.
the chain reaction, the domino effect.
All of this over a guy he wasn't even friends with.
That you can see from a simple little action like don't stand here and play Street Fighter, leave the state and go play Street Fighter somewhere else. Yeah, that actually could have, in a way, led to where I am today. So I'm incredibly grateful. Scott Hovhannissian was an amazing character. He was a fun guy. Again, spearheaded the Connecticut Street Fighter community. May he rest in peace.
I'm gonna take a break from this. Obviously that this drawing's gonna make me go crazy.
My condolences.
I'm gonna go mad with this fucking sketch.
And that's it. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So now to end tonight's Hate Live podcast, hopefully on a higher note, what we'll do is we're going to talk about Christmas. We're going to talk about what I did for Christmas week, how the trip went with my parents. I'm going to give you all the details, the funny things, and some of the cool information about the food and stuff that we ate. And, I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. I don't really talk about my parents that much. All right, I don't.
Oh boy.
Because really, I feel that their personal stuff. Okay. The personal stuff, like that. Could I talk about my parents and tell you all their personal shit? Absolutely, but I think that's for them to decide. And they never came to me and said,
what?
Even talked about Could I talk about my parents and tell you all their personal shit? Absolutely, but I think that's for them to decide. And
why would they? Why does he keep saying it's up for them? I mean, I get it. I understand. Like, yeah, it should be up to them. Obviously, like he should make that decision. But at the same time, maybe you just shouldn't talk about your parents. Like, you know there's something personal, then you don't say anything. Come on.
They never came to me and said, you know, even talked about you talk about us or whatever. And every once in a while here on the podcast, I mention them. I don't mention too much about them, so you may not know this because I don't think I've ever really talked about it. But my mom is not in very good health. My mom has a few things going on. I'm not going to reveal what they are or whatever at this time. Quite honestly, later this year I might, because there's a few things going on with
It is funny how whoops, that's not a good way to phrase it, but he has said that his mom has not been in good health for years, and yet she's still alive. Like, at this point, what's going on with her? Like, is she just old? Is that what it is? Like, she's just old. She's 60 years old. Is that her health? Gosh, she's getting old. She's in bad health. Like what is this meme?
with her health insurance right now that are incredibly fucking pissing me off to the point where, let's put it this way. Right now, if she could receive a certain medication, she could have a much better life, and her insurance just denied her that medication. And if
Why tell us this? I'm not gonna tell you guys anything that's personal, but she needs a medication. Her health insurance denied it, and she would be better off with that medication. And you might as well just tell us what it is then.
if they keep this up, I think it's time to rip the fucking roof off this shit and really expose these healthcare companies for what they are.
Yeah, my mom doesn't give the medication. It's time to expose the healthcare companies. Big Pharma exposed by Darks Fidel. Darks Fidel is gonna expose Big Pharma, dude.
Which are basically death panel councils to save a buck rather than to actually save a fucking life. But we'll talk about that later.
I mean, it's just as well that this is what pushed him over the edge. I mean, it's kind of obvious. Think about it. Diabetics need medication, right? Like, it's not like, oh, it's an optional thing. Like, if diabetics don't get their medication, they could die from their situation. So why should they have to pay such exorbitant amount of money for medication that they need to survive? Like, that's not exposing healthcare to be, or big pharma for what it is. Like, same thing with epinephrine. Like, there's like this big issue now where it's like, oh well, epinephrine's like really hard to come by now. It's expensive to own, all this stuff, but this is medication that people need. Like, it's not like, oh, people are gonna just stop being allergic to things. Like, so yeah, guys, big pharma guys, someday we're gonna expose them for what they are, even though it's pretty clear what they are.
Anyway, it was a special thing for my parents to leave Connecticut and come out here and visit me in Washington for a few reasons. Number one, because since Leanna and I moved here to Washington in June, we haven't seen anyone we know. You know what I mean? No one moved out here. We don't know anyone out here on the West Coast. It was a big and adventurous move for us. And in that 6 months, quite honestly, we were so busy either setting up and furnishing the house, and then it was setting up and getting ready for the business, right? Or after that, then it was me kind of settling into the hardcore gaming season, and there was just so much going on that, it's not like we've had time to make friends or anything out here. We haven't. We've been so busy. And so basically, my parents coming out here was the first human-to-human real contact of someone that we knew, who we met out here. The only exception is we actually did run into Carol Ann and Carrie, who were the two people who were part of Athena's Wink, who we actually are very friendly with. Remember, OJ was dating Carol Ann for a while, and they've been in, remember the white mage who was in like John Rambo's vlogs and some other stuff back when we were attending conventions. We ran into them. They hung out with us once. But outside of that, we haven't seen anyone, and it was awesome to have my parents come out here. And it's an undertaking because, like I said, when my mom's not in stuff back when we who we actually human-to-human real contact, it's not like we've had time to make friends or anything out here. We haven't. We've been so busy. And so basically, my parents coming out here was the first human-to-human real contact of someone that we knew, who we met out here. The only exception is we actually did run into Carol Ann and Carrie, who were the two people who were part of Athena's Wink, who we actually are very friendly with. Remember, OJ was dating Carol Ann for a while, and they've been in, remember the the White Mage, who was in like John Rambo's vlogs and some other stuff back when we were attending conventions. We ran into them. They hung out with us once. But outside of that, we haven't seen anyone, and it was awesome to have my parents come out here. And it's an undertaking because, like I said, when my mom's not in the best of health, for her to travel across the country is a pretty difficult thing. The fact that she, when she's in the airport, a lot of the time she has to get wheeled through with a wheelchair, and they have to put her through the special security screening because she has some metal in her body from operations she's had.
This is good information to tell. So she has probably a hip replacement from the sound of it at this point. I don't fucking know. This is good information.
So it was nice to have them come out here, and I don't know if or when I'm going to see them again, so it was a really special thing, and I decided that because they wanted to come out here, that I was going to make time for it, regardless of the fact that, oh, we're in the hardcore gaming season, right? Oh, I'm in the middle of playthroughs. I don't care. My parents are more important than all of that, right? So I did. I made time, and we made a big plan. So here's was our plan, and here's how it worked. My parents flew out on a Sunday, but the thing is, my parents wanted direct flights. They didn't want anything with a layover, especially, again, with my mom and her back and her health. Wouldn't have been able to do a layover and stay in an airport for 12 hours and waiting for a plane to, the next plane connecting flight or whatever. They wanted a direct shot. The problem is, most planes that are direct shots suck. They have, no room. They're cramped. So they wanted to fly JetBlue. So they did, because JetBlue has more room in their seats. But JetBlue only has 2 flights to and from Seattle. And they're terrible times. They're basically super early morning or super late at night. So my parents ended up getting a kind of a crappy flight where they arrived around, I think it was almost 9 p.m. Our time locally here. And it ended up getting delayed, the plane. So they actually touched down not even until almost 10 o'clock. So Leanna and I drove out to the airport to meet them. We met them at the gate, which was nice. And then we took them to the car. We got all their bags loaded. And they stayed at a hotel. And, I saw a lot of people over the course of the week when they found out that my parents were staying at a hotel freaking out. How could you put your parents in a hotel? What kind of a son are you that you would put your parents up in a hotel? You have this nice big house that you have in Washington and you didn't have them in the house. Let me tell you this. I talked to them about it and they agreed they wanted to stay at a hotel, all right? Again, my mom has serious medical issues. She actually cannot sleep in a bed like on her back. She actually has to sleep upright, which means that she would have had to have a nice... At home, she has like one of those, what are they, Barca loungers or whatever, those armchairs, that the feet kick up, and that's what she sleeps in. She would have to have that here to sleep. We don't have that. We don't have any... The only upright chairs that we really have are the dining room chairs downstairs. Those aren't comfortable for sleeping. The office chairs, those aren't comfortable for sleeping. And the couch, which also, it's not enough upright support for her to sit. So I talked to her about it, and she said, well, can you find a hotel in the area that we know has a nice kind of a chair that I could sleep in? And I did research, and there were 3 or 4 hotels local to us in this area that I did the research on, and I found one that not only had a nice big room with a suite, and it actually had its own fridge, microwave, and everything that they would need to stay there, but also had a big, nice, comfy chair for her to sleep in. So that's why we put them up in a hotel, not because we didn't want them here or anything like that. I mean, yeah, it would have been easier if we hadn't filled up these rooms as our offices, but we could have if it were normal circumstances and people in, really more healthy stuff, right? They would have been able to stay here, but that wasn't the situation, unfortunately. My mom is not exactly in the best of health, like I said, and she actually said, well, I'd prefer to stay in a hotel if we can have a better accommodation. And also, she even said, the goal here was to spend time with us, but not to interfere if I had to do work or other stuff that, that we would be able to sleep our normal sleep schedule, not be off on that or anything like that. So, that's why they stayed in a hotel, and by the way, I paid for it. So it's not like, I made them come out here and they broke the bank trying to make this trip. No, that's what you do. If you're a responsible son, you're going to make sure that when your parents are going to come out and visit you somewhere, that they're in the best of living conditions.
Now, look at this, right? Oh, his parents came over, he paid for them, all this stuff, right? Guess who paid for the trip to go to visit them? Not Phil. No, not him. No, why would he pay for the flight from Seattle to Connecticut? Why would he do that, right? He paid for them to get there, but he didn't pay his own way there. I guess it's fair, dude.
They want to stay in, and then they don't go in fucking bankruptcy because they came to visit you, and that's really what I strove to do with this trip. Okay, So my mom and my dad came out here. We picked them up from the airport, and I drove them to their hotel. They checked in that night. It was kind of funny because it was late. Keep in mind, it was very late, and it was Sunday night. Now, here's the problem. Sunday night in this area, there's very few things that stay open besides like 24-hour fast food, like, say, McDonald's. So my dad, he's like, oh, well, on the way to the hotel, can we stop at a 24-hour Dunkin' Donuts? And I'm like, Dad, first of all, there's no Dunkin' Donuts on the West Coast. They don't exist. You know, that's an East Coast thing. They literally don't exist. It's all Starbucks, and there's no 24-hour Starbucks around here. There's really nothing open right now. The best I could do is bring it to a 7-Eleven or a McDonald's, which he was like, oh, no, I'll skip that, then forget it. I believe he ended up getting some stuff, you know, you could buy food or whatever in the front lobby of the hotel, and they cooked it up. Like I said, their room had a microwave and everything, so they ended up making their own food.
You can order room service? Well,
and so,
whatever.
I picked them up. We picked them up the next day.
Now, you know, you'd think, right? If that's the case, why didn't Phil just invite him to the house so that they could just eat there and then they could go to the hotel? Oh no, that's Phil's food. You can't share Phil's food with his parents. I forgot. No, Mom, you can't have my food. No.
And that day we took the opportunity to, first of all, we drove back here to the house and we showed them the whole house. We gave them the grand tour in person, right? So we gave him the grand tour, and of course immediately my mom starts saying, oh, this could be improved this way, or this could be improved that way. There's been some things around the house, like paintings that I've wanted to hang, but I am no expert at hanging stuff, and I didn't want to make holes in the walls or anything. So was waiting.
To this day, DSP still does not want to put holes in the wall. He hangs everything with like Velcro tape. This dude is like, I guess I know why. Because this dude is like, well, if I put holes in the wall, it's gonna devalue the house. This dude, like, loves this house, right? He loves this house. And yet, he doesn't want to leave, he doesn't want to move out or whatever, but he wants to make sure this house only increases in value in case if he ever wants to move out of it and move into a bigger house. Like, I don't get, like, if you love the house so much, fuck it, live there, you know? And if you want to sell, you can, like, spackle the fucking holes. Who fucking cares? Like, people are always gonna buy houses. This dude, like, wants to, you know, get every penny out of everything. This dude is insane. Like, this dude is like, I can't put a hole in the wall. It's gonna devalue the house.
And my dad was gonna help me with that stuff, and also I have a broken toilet that my dad you know, was going to help me fix, which was good. So basically, I picked up my parents. We did the whole tour. They looked at everything in the house. Okay. And then we said, all right, we're going to... Well, first of all, I take that back. We got food first. We actually got IHOP together. So we all went to IHOP and got...
Wait, now they went to IHOP.
Some food.
Okay.
And then they saw the house, which was nice, and they relaxed. And my mom's all about her tea. She drinks tea like nonstop. Like, that's all she drinks is fucking hot tea. So she brought 1 million tea bags of her own hot tea that she was constantly making. And she insisted on using our microwave to warm her water. I was like, Mom, we have a Keurig drink maker right here that can make you fresh hot water. You don't need to nuke it. Nope, she had to nuke it because that's...
These two are ridiculous. They have a Keurig machine. We gotta use the Keurig machine to boil water. Why not just use the stove? The Keurig machine is a coffee maker. Like, sure, yeah, it obviously heats the water, but I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm a boomer and I like using stovetops to boil my water. Like, you get a kettle, you put it in the kettle, you put it on the stove pot, it makes a little noise, then you pour it into the cup. Why not, right?
That's what she was used to. My dad did partake of the Keurig, and he did actually enjoy having a lot of different drinks and coffees and stuff during the time that we were here. So anyway, so that first day was all about showing them the house, and then after that we went out shopping. And when I say we went out shopping, we did a few things. We went to Target, and my mom went and bought a ton of stuff for them in the hotel room, including a giant body pillows and 20 different pillows for her to try to position herself in this chair that she was going to sleep in the hotel room. And they got themselves, you know, some snacks and utensils and plates and stuff for the hotel room because they knew that half the time they were going to be there and half the time they were going to be with us. And then it was funny because then we ended up going to a local grocery store to shop. And here's the difference between myself and Leanna and my parents. So both of us would go into a grocery store with a list. But Leanna and I would literally go aisle by aisle, picking out the items that we need, checking them off the list. So by the end of the time that we're at the end of the store, we're good to go. My parents go through the store, and it's like, they go down one aisle, oh, we needed bread. They grab the bread. 2 aisles later, oh, but we also needed bagels. So then they go back to the aisle, they grab the bagels. Man, well, I really like jelly for the English muffins that I bought, but I don't want to buy, it was so funny. My mom's standing in front of this jelly section. I want jelly for my English muffin, but these containers are too big. I'm going to end up throwing out the jelly if I buy these containers. We're talking containers this small, right? I was like, Mom, it's a tiny container. Even if you use it twice, you'll get... No, I'm not going to get it. 2 minutes later, she's back in the aisle, look at the jelly. No, I'm not...
This dude, like, he's talking to about his parents like they're fucking zoo animals. And this is kind of like... This is stuff like... I don't know how to describe it. It's such a weird way to talk about your parents. Like, come on. I mean, I think I tell better stories about my mom, like how she called Ursula the sea bitch. I don't necessarily know the context of that though, because I think it was I don't know if I was born at this time, but I think my brother went to see The Little Mermaid in theaters when it was in theaters, and my mom said that she didn't like the movie because it had Ursula the sea bitch. But that's a great quote, Ursula the sea bitch.
Gonna get it. So going to the grocery store with my parents should have been like a 20-minute thing. I kid you not, we were in there for almost 2 hours. Just walking around and getting maybe 20 items that they wanted to have for the hotel room. And it's like... But in addition to that, we also picked up a lot of the ingredients for the food that my mom was going to make, including her homemade lasagna. So we picked up the lasagna noodles, we picked up the fresh mozzarella, and things like that we were going to put into the lasagna and stuff like that. So that was the end of our first day. We did all the shopping, and then finally we dropped all the stuff off at the house. They took the stuff. We separated the stuff that was going to their hotel room and the stuff that was staying at our house. And then I drove them back to the hotel room, and that was our Monday. It was a really, really busy day. It was a stressful day, but we got a lot done. The second day, unfortunately, had a bad beginning. And what I mean by that is, if for those of you who know, it was a Tuesday, the Tuesday of Christmas week. I was supposed to do fan appreciation matches in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, right, with the fans. And I really wanted to do this, and unfortunately, it didn't happen because I went to go pick up my parents and ended up, I kid you not, the hotel that my parents stayed at was about, at tops, 15 minutes away. On a day with no traffic, I could make it there in 7 minutes. It took us an hour and a half to get there to pick up my parents. So I had to call my parents twice while we were on the road and say, no, we're still coming. We're literally in bumper-to-bumper holiday traffic. Like, every single person on the planet must have been on the road that Tuesday. I don't know why. You know what I mean?
Why?
Like, they're out of their minds. These people. Like,
as DSP is driving to pick up his parents, why is the roads packed? Huh? I guess he's the only one that had family fly in. No one else in the planet flies in to see their family. It never happens. No one does this.
Like, what are they doing to the Tuesday before Christmas in the middle of the day driving around? I have no clue. But they were, and it took an hour and a half to pick them up, almost an hour to get back to the house. And at that time, I was already 2 hours late for what I was going to do for fan appreciation, and I ended up canceling it. So that was the day that my dad actually went around the house looking at things, okay? And he was looking at different things to help. And when I say that, I mean there are people talking. People are talking about something weird in the chat. DDoSed the street road. I don't know. But anyway,
DDoSed the street road?
confusing
What?
chat. Anyway, when we finally,
They
my
mean
dad and I
dots?
said, since this stream isn't going to happen, let's walk around the house and figure out what exactly we can do. And one of the big things is that my toilet has been broken for a while. If you guys remember, in the middle of December, I was on a stream, and right in the middle of the stream, I had to basically go on a break for like 45 minutes because my toilet was overflowing with water. Everything had broken on the inside of it. And luckily at that point, my dad had instructed me how to turn off the water so the toilet wouldn't overflow, okay? So then, this time, when he was visiting, we looked at the toilet together, and he's like, man, you need a whole new, this whole gasket thing needs to be replaced or whatever, so we'll go to Home Depot today and we'll get all the parts that you need. So we ended up doing that, and in addition, he helped me hang up some things. Now, I've already done a vlog about this. If you guys haven't seen it, it was the post-Christmas vlog where I showed you he helped us hang up this nice frame with all pictures of Leanna and I and the places that we've been over the past couple of years. He helped us with that. He also hung up these two pieces of artwork in our hallway staircase that we've been trying to figure out how to do for a while. So then finally we're trying to figure this out, and he does install this whole new gasket thing or whatever, right? And turns on the toilet. All right, great. Guess what? There's another problem. The tube where the water actually comes in, it has a crack in it. I don't know. Again, I'm not a plumber. I'm not a technical guy. My dad is. My dad used to do this kind of stuff for a living when he was younger, and he did all the home improvements at the house in Connecticut, so he knows all about this. I know nothing about it. And he's like, this is bad. He says, because guess what? Normally we'd be able to replace that tube, okay? But guess what?
What?
They rubber cemented the two, I don't even know what they're called, not brackets, but what do you call them? The nuts or whatever that you need to loosen to take the bowl off and replace this tube. They fucking rubber cemented them in. He's like, you would have to stand here and scrape at this for hours to get rubber cement off. He's like, you're better off just getting a new toilet. And I'm like, well, I don't have money for a new toilet right now. So he says, well, I guess we know what we're getting you, for Christmas, which is nice of them. basically, they offered to buy me a new toilet. I said, okay, that's nice. Nice, and that's the Christmas present that I'm getting from my parents. Something practical and useful, which is great. They could have easily brought me a bunch of stuff that I never would have been able to use. But instead, they got me something practical. They said they're going to buy me a new toilet, right? They're going to actually, buy the toilet and pay for the install or whatever to remove the old one and replace it with a new one. So we did all that, and that was basically Tuesday. And then over the course of the week, we had different meals with my parents. I believe, what was it, Tuesday night? I'm trying to remember what we ate what day. Let me think about this for a second. Tuesday night was not, no, okay. Tuesday night we had pork loin. Leanna made this nice cranberry and mustard glazed pork loin. And my dad and all of us had salad. My mom can't eat too much roughage, so she ended up having some bread with it. And we love Leanna's pork loin. Is fucking to die for. It's juicy as hell. Oh my god, the pork loin was amazing. We all enjoyed it a lot. Wednesday was Christmas Eve, and so we spent some time together during the day. But we actually went out to a local Chinese restaurant. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We continued our tradition. I've talked about this in the past, but what we do is in the tradition of, well. All right, let me explain. Let me give you guys some background. When I lived in Connecticut, when I was a kid, we used to go over to my great aunt's house, my great aunt and uncle, which were kind of like the grandmother and grandfather of the whole family. So it would be myself as a kid with my three other cousins who were female and around my same age. And my great uncle would dress up like Santa Claus and give us presents or whatever on Christmas Eve. This was our Christmas Eve celebration. But as we grew up, we all fell out of touch, and we stopped doing that. So around the time that was like my high school years, my parents started a new tradition where every Christmas Eve we would go to an Asian restaurant to eat. Because guess what? Most Asian cultures don't celebrate Christmas, or if they do, it's not like a big holiday for them. They stay open for business. So every year in Connecticut, we would go to an Asian restaurant to eat. And then this year was no exception. We actually decided that we were going to go out to an Asian restaurant. We looked at all the ones in the area, and we were like, oh, well, I don't know if my parents would like Thai food or Vietnamese, but we know they like Chinese. So we actually found a nice Chinese restaurant in the area, and it was my parents and Leanna and myself, and actually two other families were there all eating Asian food at the same time, which was pretty funny. It was really good. It turned out really nice. We had leftovers that we ended up eating later, incidentally. Christmas Day was the big day. We had a huge spread. My mom had in advance bought us this glazed ham. In addition to that, there was a corn casserole and a sweet potato casserole sides. She made her homemade lasagna, which, oh my god, her lasagna is very different from the lasagna you would get at a restaurant. The lasagna you get at a restaurant, it's a big, thick chunk. that is full of like ricotta cheese and mozzarella cheese and meat and sometimes veggies. My mom, her family traditionally only made it with cheese because I guess there were people in her family that either couldn't eat the red meat or weren't good with veggies or whatever. I don't know. Cheese up the ass, but it's the most delicious effing lasagna I ever eaten in my life. And we used my sauce, my batch of sauce that I had made with it, and it was unique. It tasted different than what she would make, but it was amazing. My mom loved it. Everyone loved it. It was a hit. Like, this lasagna is just to die for. That was our Christmas spread. And at Christmas Day, we all exchanged gifts. Leanna actually gave my parents homemade soaps. That was their gift from her. She gave me these nice pillows, right? And my parents basically gave Leanna some money to start her business. And
Guys, don't worry. I did not make them pay for anything. They just had to pay for Leanna's soap business. Now I think somewhere along the line, I don't know if it was before this or after this or whichever way, but I also think that it was, oh my god, I might have to rewatch Tevin's longest endure of the Pandalese stream. But I think he said something like DSP also put money into the soap business, but now it's his parents that also contribute to the soap business. She had a whole fucking factory apparently. Oh man.
And also, I basically told them that your Christmas present is I'm paying for your hotel, so you don't have to worry that you spent a ton of money while you were out here. So that was my present to them.
This dude. Look at all my people to pay their. Well, I paid their way for Christmas. That's like Christmas gift. This dude, this fucking guy, man. He made sure to tell us that he paid for his parents' hotel room out of the kindness of his heart, and then says that he did it for their Christmas gift. That's their Christmas gift, to fly in to see him. This dude is fucking lazy.
So it was funny because there wasn't a lot of physical stuff that transpired, traditionally for Christmas. Oh, here's a sweater, here's a pair of socks. None of that really happened. It was actually more of like, well, I'm paying for this and you're paying for that and this and that. But it was still nice because it was all useful stuff, right? And so, and then the day after Christmas was kind of like also winding down. That was the day, if you remember, I did the fan appreciation for Smash, and so I worked some of that day. But my parents actually went to Home Depot that day and went out and bought us a toilet and scheduled to have someone call and have it installed, which, again, I said earlier in the podcast, I haven't even had a chance to make that call this week to schedule for when the guy's going to come out here and install our toilet. I need to do that. And then Saturday really was kind of the day, it was the last day, so they had to check out of the hotel at noon. But get this, their flight wasn't until 9 p.m. They were flying the Red Eye overnight flight, leaving here at 9, and it was supposed to touch down in Connecticut at like 6 in the morning. So a completely overnight flight. And they wanted to get to the airport really early, and they were nervous that we weren't going to make it. It was funny because I was like, you guys are going to be fine, even though it might be busy. We'll get you to the airport in plenty of time. So we decided they hung out at the house for a few hours. We said, we'll go out to an early dinner. And we went out to this place called, is it Claim Jumper? Something like that. It's something, it's I've taken pictures of it before. It looks like a lodge on the inside. I tweeted pictures where I said it looks like the lodge from The Last of Us. And it's American fare food. And so we're eating, and it took a little bit longer for the food to come out than normally it would. And my parents, they're so nervous. Oh my God, we're going to miss the flight. I'm like, Dad, it's 6 p.m. Your flight doesn't leave till 9:30. I'm pretty sure we're going to make it to the airport. Oh, that's one thing I want to mention. The awesome, cool thing about living where I live, we're only about maybe 20 minutes tops from the airport, which is amazing. 20 minutes? In 20 minutes, we can get to the airport. So when we do eventually get to travel, like we're going to have to do later this year to go to Leanna's brother's wedding, we just get a cab. He'll drive us to the airport in 20 minutes, like $20 probably. Versus when I lived in Connecticut, oh my God, to get to the airport, you had to get a special ride. If you drove, it would take over 2 hours, right? Or if you didn't drive, because I couldn't drive on the highway, I still can't drive on the highway, we would get a ride. Even the ride would take an hour.
he says this. He can't drive on the highway, right? I believe there was a stream recently where DSP mentions he only wears his glasses for when he drives on the highway. It's funny, right? When he was with Leanna, he can't do anything. He can't drive on the highway. He can't do this. He can't do that. Leanna has to do all this stuff for him. Leanna leaves him. I don't know why. I mean, he's such a great guy, right? And then Kat moves in. And suddenly, overnight, he could drive on the highway. He could cook. He could do all these things. Man, it really is like she broke up with him because he was doing nothing for the relationship. And she was doing all the work. And she was like, fuck this, I'm out. And then when Kat's there, suddenly he can't fucking risk that happening again. Really, really makes you think.
An hour and a half to 2 hours to get there. Now, hop, skip, and a jump, and we're at the airport, which is amazing. So anyway, yeah, my parents were so nervous that they weren't going to make their flight. I'm like, you guys have so much time, you have no idea. And by the way, it's a holiday weekend. I almost guarantee you, your flight will be delayed. So we had this dinner. We got to the airport probably a little after 7, right? So they, no one there, like literally no one there. They go right. We dropped them off. They went right in. We say goodbye, tearful goodbye, of course, because I don't know when I'm going to see my parents again. The bottom line is, they came out this year. They probably more than likely won't come out again next year. I hope my mom's health holds up. It all depends on what happens with this health insurance issue, which you're going to be hearing more from me in the future. I'll forewarn you, because if they deny my mom a medication that's going to make her better, I'm going to fucking lose it. And that's what...
Now, when did Mirror's Edge Catalyst come out? I think it was 2016. So they came back the following year. And then after that, he went to see them in 2019 to marry Kat, and they had to pay his way there because he couldn't do it back then because he was strapped for cash, dude.
One of the things that I am going to lose it. Like, I'll maintain my composure when it comes to trolling and when it comes to stupid, annoying lawmakers trying to stop, censor the internet. I'll get angry, but I will not contain myself when it comes to my mom's health. So I'm going to warn you guys, if things turn for the worse later this year, you're going to hear a lot from me about it. And I hope that people are serious about it and we can actually do something about it together, or a social movement to get shit changed.
What? Hold up.
Trolling. I guarantee you, your flight will be delayed. So we had this dinner. We got to the airport probably a little after 7, right? So they, no one there, like literally no one there. They go right. We dropped them off. They went right in. We say goodbye, tearful goodbye, of course, because I don't know when I'm going to see my parents again. The bottom line is, they came out this year. They probably more than likely won't come out again next year. I hope my mom's health holds up. It all depends on what happens with this health insurance issue, which you're going to be hearing more from me in the future.
We are going to hear more about his mommy's health insurance issue. But he won't tell us about his healthcare issue, which is probably, in terms of relevance, would be more relevant for us to know since he's making the content. But no, we will hear about his mom, though. The person that lives a normal life with her husband and her cats. But no, that's way more important and relevant for us to know than him. Okay.
I'll forewarn you, because if they deny my mom a medication that's going to make her better, I'm going to fucking lose it.
I don't know what happened to this. So, I mean, if someone knows, post in the comments, I guess. Because I doubt he even talked about it. But he's like, oh, if they deny it, that's it, I'm going to get pissed. He's going to start a movement. But he has complained way more about his own health insurance over gout than anyone else. Than anything else that happened. And it's funny he says all this stuff, but you'd think that the gout situation would get him more in an uproar to start social movements.
And that's one of the things that I am going to lose it. Like, you know, I'll maintain my composure when it comes to trolling and when it comes to stupid, annoying lawmakers trying to stop, you know, censor the internet. I'll get angry, but I will not contain myself when it comes to my mom's health. So I'm going to warn you guys, if things go for the turn for the worse later this year, you're going to hear a lot from me about it. And I hope that people are serious about it and we can actually do something about it together, or a social movement to get shit changed. Because if my mom suffers because a fucking health insurance company won't pay for a drug for her to save her life, I am going to lose my shit. All right. But anyway,
Save her
you know,
life.
not knowing when I'm going to see them again, right? And we don't know. You know, it was a pretty tearful goodbye. And, so right after that, we said, well, on the way home, Leanna and I said, we'll stop at the grocery store, because it's been almost a week now. We'll stop at the grocery store. We'll pick up the stuff that we need for the coming week. So this was maybe a half an hour. We take one foot in the grocery store. My phone rings. I pick it up. It's my mom. She says, guess what? Flight's delayed over an hour. I said, I told you, Mom. I knew it. You know what I mean? Like, I knew it. I knew that with this holiday weekend that your flight was going to be delayed pretty badly. But they ended up eventually getting home. They just said it was like the worst flight ever because it was a red-eye flight where everyone would think you could sleep. No, there were like 7 babies on the plane, all crying overnight. So no one on the plane.
Every airplane story he has told us, he always tells us there's babies on board. Which I kind of am pressing X to doubt more and more. Like, it's a meme at this point to be on an airplane and there's a baby.
Plane got any sleep. But my parents got home safe. I actually am due to call them this Saturday to find out about this week. I want to find out because they have cats and stuff. Some of the cats they had dropped off at like a place to take care of them. I want to find out what happened with the cats in the house and whatever and see what's up with them. And, you know, it was a good trip. Do we do a lot? No. I'll be honest with you guys. We didn't do a lot. You would think if your family's visiting, why didn't you go into Seattle and why didn't you do this? And the answer is basically because my parents, like I said, my mom can't really get around too well anymore. And my mom said, I've been to Seattle already. I've been here, you know, previously with other visits. I don't need to go to Seattle. I'm here to visit you and see the house and spend time with you and have food with you. I'm not here to go and do gallivant and do different things.
He does gallivanting and all this stuff that they've seen before. With Kat and Leanna multiple times. They go to the space deal, they go to the zoo, they do this and that, right? All the time. But when his parents get... No, we can't... No, we've been there before. We don't need to go there again. This dude is, like, embarrassed to be around his parents. He doesn't want to do anything with them. They just stayed at their home and just stared at each other all day? Like, what?
So even though it was pretty much a stay-home week, it was a relaxed week.
Stay home. Your parents come over, and you stay home. Okay.
1 week. It was stressful in some ways. My mom smokes, and Leanna absolutely hates it. I hate it too, but I can bear it because I grew up with it. But Leanna, it's like, you know, she can't breathe around cigarette smoke. So that was kind of an annoyance. And my parents bicker about all the time, and they're in the grocery store taking forever and stuff like that. But it was all very, very worth it. It was it was a nice week. I was able to see them for the week. I don't know again when I'm going to be able to see them again.
I hate
especially with next year when we go to the East Coast, we're going to be in Pennsylvania, not Connecticut. So chances are I won't be able to see them then. Who knows if or when I will be able to go back to the East Coast to visit them. Especially, like I said, with what's going on this year with me starting up Patreon and really having to put my nose to the grindstone and try to work a lot to pay off my debt. I can't really incur a lot more. That's kind of the situation that we're in, is like we don't know when we're going to see each other again. And it was a little bit of a sadness at the end there, but it was worth it. Overall, it was a good trip. I'm happy that they came out here. You know, I love my parents, despite the fact that we've had so many disagreements over the years. When you get older, you realize how stupid a lot of that stuff was, and that the fact that you didn't really need to have these big overblown dramatic issues in your life. And, you know, as I've gotten older and more mellow and calmed down about stuff, I think I see a little bit more eye to eye. I'm not going to say a lot more, a little bit more eye to eye with my parents. And I can definitely understand a lot of the stuff that they go through. And it was nice. It was very nice of them to take the initiative to come out here and spend the holiday with us. And it was much appreciated. So I don't know. Again, I don't know when I'm going to see them again. And that's kind of a scary thing to think, because I used to see them every week, right? I used to see them every single weekend. We would go to dinner, and they would always be a hop, skip, and a jump away. You know, I'd drive 20 minutes, and I could see them. And now I just cannot see them at all unless I spend a shitload of money and a shitload of time to travel. And, you know, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, that things work out, that maybe my mom gets this medication, you know, a year or two go by, she's feeling a lot better. I can go out to see them, or they can come back to see us. And what I said is, if they come to visit again, they got to come during the summer, because the summer is when we could do fun stuff. I could drive us down to Pike Place Market. I could drive us down to the pier. We could go on the ferry. We could do all that. Right now, the only things that we really could do is go into downtown Seattle and maybe walk around a little, but it's too cold to do all the stuff that's the outdoorsy stuff that Seattle's known for right now. So really, this was the kind of time of year where we really typically wouldn't visit unless it was for the holiday, which is what they visited for. So that's really what we did during that week. It was a fun week, and even though I wasn't here for consistent gameplay, I appreciate that you guys were patient, that I had the time to spend with my parents, and we got through it. And now it's time to push forward.
You got
the
through
new
it,
year,
guys.
the new content, the Patreon, the website's back. Everything's going well. I'm excited. I hope that you guys are as excited as I am for all the new great stuff that's going to be coming up in the near future. I thank you very much for that. And hey, Happy New Year again, everyone. As we end the podcast tonight, Happy New Year. Here's to a healthy, positive year coming up, of brand new stuff coming up, new shows, new gameplay. I'm hoping, quite honestly, let me put it to you this way. If things work out with the way that I'm doing stuff now, which is one gameplay stream during the day, and then at night I work on a year-end series that maybe is like an edited series, that may be something that I do a lot more often, where I'm not always constantly doing 2 gameplay streams a day. Maybe I'll do one stream, and then I spend the other half of the day working on my new series and stuff like that, if that's the kind of stuff that you want to see. And I would love to know that. You know what I mean? I hope that you guys, like I said, will check out the forums, because the forums are now live. And people right now, I'm sure, are posting actively. Again, I need your help when it comes to fan art, when it comes to logo submissions, when it comes to nominating things for funniest moments of the year. When you get a chance, please head over there sooner rather than later, so people don't maliciously try to take your persona, which unfortunately happened a few times already. It's going to be a good year. I've got a great positive feeling about this year. I really do, and I hope that you do too, okay? So that is it, everyone. For Hate Live, the first one of 2015. I hope it was a good one. Boy, do we talk about a variety of topics on this podcast. Holy shit. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate that. Next week, we will have another episode of Hate Live. We're going to have to see what we want to talk about next week. I guess it's going to depend on what's going on in the news. I'll see if I can maybe put together another Back in the Day segment for you guys, because we haven't done one now in quite some time. And we'll go from there, right? But for now, this is DSP signing off. Have a good night, everyone. Happy New Year. Happy 2015. Year. I hope you had a good, safe one. And let's really push forward positively. If you want to know, honestly, quite honestly, if you want to know what my resolution is for this year, I've got two. I got 2 resolutions for 2015.
Resolutions.
The first one is that hopefully by the end of this year, I've got this debt situation under control, where at least
the debt situation under control. We gotta get it under control first.
I've paid down what I needed to pay down, and I'm in a situation where my credit is not, right now I can tell you this past year, because of the debt I incurred moving, my credit dropped. And that's unfortunately what happens is when you have credit card debt, your credit drops. It's stupid because it's like, oh, you have debt. Yeah, but I've always paid my debt. In the history of my entire life, I've never missed a payment. I always pay my debt.
In history. This guy literally told us that he had debt before he started doing YouTube. And then when he did YouTube, he got out of it. And then he got himself back into debt. But now he's telling us that he never had issues. Never. His credit was perfect all the time.
Doesn't matter. If you have the debt, your credit score drops, which is stupid. But that's how it works. So, number one goal by the end of this year...
I honestly think it's more stupid that we live in a society, guys, that credit depends on debt you have. There's the fact that there's a term called good debt. That to me says enough. You don't need, like, fuck that shit. Okay, a little political. I think we should get rid of debt. Fuck that shit. And I think we should have a new system in place where we have like a JPEG. You know, JPEGs, like the image, like a GPG, and JPG, excuse me, and we post that on the wherever, but it's ours, and that should be where our value is on what JPGs we have. Now, and I think it should be unique, where it's like, we have to make it ourselves. You know, I think if you make your own JPG, that's worth a lot more. If you have to buy your own, you know, if you buy your own JPG, that should be a lesser amount because you know you're not making it. So if you make a JPG yourself, like you make it, that should be worth something, and that's what we should base our credit on, is who made it and who bought it. You know, the people who make it gets the best credit. The people who buy gets good, they get good credit, but it's not as good as the people who made their own. You know what I mean? And that's how our economy should be. That's the most ideal economy. I think the best economy, if you really ask me, I think would be carrots. You know, you have one rabbit. It could be any rabbit. You know, we vote a rabbit in. We have, you know, we're a democracy. We vote a rabbit in, and we just have to give that rabbit carrots, and that's it. That's the only stress we have to worry about, is giving this rabbit carrots, and that should be it. If you ask me, that's a system we should be using, but we're too fucking stupid for that. We have Boomer Biden in the White House just boomering it up, probably calling his best buddy Trump about shit. You know, I'm sorry, I don't believe for a second that Trump and Biden aren't friends. Whoever says that they're not friends and all that stuff, they don't know shit. They're friends. Trump calling Biden radical left is like an in joke with them. Like, Trump's like, oh, I'm gonna call you radical left, dude, and he's gonna be like, who are you again? That's it. All right, let's move on from this.
Hopefully be in a better financial situation. Number 2 goal is that hopefully this year we're able to readjust. It's not constantly about me streaming and doing pure gameplay, but a mix and a happy medium where it's me maybe doing some more kind of, you know, original series, more edited series, which you guys seem to have been asking for a while.
More edited series.
Versus me just doing raw gameplay all the time.
Which he only did in 2016 when he got KO Gaming, but he's gonna do in 2015, guys.
It gives me more variety in what I'm doing. Instead of just sitting here and playing games all day and feeling a little bit more burnt out, then maybe I can actually do more variety of creative stuff, which I've wanted to do. And my goal is that by the end of this year, hopefully I've found that happy medium between, yes, there's still gameplay, but there's other fun stuff too. And that's what I wanted to do last year, and I didn't do it because I was so focused on moving that became my one and only goal for the year. And now that I'm here, I'm settled in, I'm able to work on a daily basis, this is now the time when I need to really focus on doing that new kind of a balance. And I hope that you guys will help me this year finding that balance, that you'll give me your constant feedback, whether it's on the new website, whether it's on Twitter, whether you shoot me an email at darksidefil@hotmail.com. All that stuff's very appreciated, and here's to a great 2015 for not just me, but for everyone. Because we all deserve it, right? We all deserve a great positive year, and I hope that you have one.
We deserve a good year.
Just as much as I hope that I have one as well. So,
oh yeah,
that's it, everyone.
2015 was one of the most positive years for DSP. Like, it was the positive year for him.
For Hate Live's New Year's special. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week for another Hate Live. I'll see you, like I said, tomorrow and ongoing for the year-end series for more gameplay. It's all going to continue. Thanks a lot very much for watching, and that is it. Have a good night. Happy New Year. Peace out. See you later.
Man, now when he does, he always does the thumbs up. All right, I think that's it for this video. We have other videos we can watch. I think next time I do will be the 2015 Christmas special. The 2016 one, I couldn't find it. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know where it is, but maybe we'll go on a expedition at some point. This, I think, is also incorrect. I have to like figure stuff out with this. Why is this? What? Holiday game? Oh, I just added that because it'd be funny. All right. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry for the unfunny jokes that I did. You know, I'm not a comedian. But thank you for watching. Hope you guys had a good time watching this little video of me doing all kinds of stuff. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time. Bye-bye.